Well, it's the fourth day of December 2025, which means we've got 21 days to Christmas. I'm excited. I hope you're excited too. Good morning. Welcome to GA Today here on GHOne Television. I am Joshua Kodjo Mensah. And of course, today is a beautiful Thursday, and I hope that your day is going well. If it's not, come on, this is the best way to wake up. So we're here to lighten up and make sure your day is more educative, more informative, and of course, laced with some fun as well. So from now till 10 a.m., we're live on your screens, bringing you the newspaper review shortly. Also get to find out what is happening in the world of legal matters. Mutalai Nusa will be joining us with court today later on in the show. And then we'll also be having a conversation as well on the raging issues. Yesterday, in fact, last night, we got word that lawyer Martin Pibu had been detained at the office of the special prosecutor. Well, the update on that matter is that, well, he's been released. And so we'll be talking to him as well, get to understand exactly what led to he being detained at the office of the special prosecutor, because his lawyers last night were at a loss as to where he was. They didn't know his whereabouts, they were concerned, and all of that. We'll bring you that conversation as well. And then we'll be also engaging some guests on the show as well. So from now till 10 a.m. is action-packed, it's loaded for your viewing pleasure. Welcome aboard once again. Let's kickstart with the quote of the day. And our quote this morning is from Rose Kennedy, who says, "Life isn't a matter of milestones, but of moments." Life is not a matter of milestones, but of moments. So get to enjoy the little moments, get to celebrate the little feats. Don't wait for the grand gestures, the big feats before you celebrate. Yes, I know some of you buy clothes and you're waiting for Christmas to wear them. In fact, the fact that you're alive today is a good opportunity to wear that nice clothes that you got there. Don't wait for the milestones. Just cherish the little moments. And this morning on the show, we'll be bringing you moments and moments of amazing fun and content. I am Joshua Kodjo Mensah again, but let's kick and move on now with the word of the day. Well, we apologize for that. We'll bring you those shortly. But now, it's a Thursday. Let's throw back and enjoy some good music, and we'll be back after that. zoom into what is happening in court. Mutala Inusa is joining me with court today. So the man I like to call GHOne is here. Mutala Inusa, good morning.
Good morning, Joshua, Kodjo, Mensah.
Charlie.
It's a rainy day.
Yeah. I mean, those of you in Greater Accra, I hear you suffered yesterday. Some of you got home at 11 p.m. Charlie, Accra is choked though. You people should leave
So
Accra.
where do you live?
Oh, I live in the outskirts
In
of
the central region.
You know, they say where I live is between the central, eastern, and Greater Accra.
So you are just living in the borderline.
I tell you.
Whatever side you can call yourself, Eastern region you can enter.
So,
Voter region you can call yourself a Voterian.
Charlie, why you bro? You have to be very Oh my goodness. Right, my brother, how is it going?
By His grace.
Absolutely.
And we are here to serve.
Absolutely. Yeah. For God and
when
country.
I see the smile on your face, I know that we have to serve. You know?
Yes, I would. But let's get into the details.
Yes.
Yesterday, we talked about the man who, as it stands now, we can still say allegedly assaulted a woman believed to be his wife.
Yeah.
And he was in court. Talk to me about how all of that went.
Yes. So we have seen the videos, and the court of public opinion has had its own judgment on the matter. And I remember yesterday when we posted this on our official social media platform, GHOne on Facebook and all the social media platforms, the comments, the reactions that are coming, very interesting because John Odate Lamte, who is the first accused person, decided that, in fact, yesterday he was slapped with 7 counts of charges. He pleaded not guilty to all of them, and the court of public opinion is saying that, this man, we have seen what we have seen, and then just for you to plead guilty and go your way, you want to waste everybody's time. It is one thing about what we have seen in the video, and it's another thing of proving it in the eyes of the law. Yesterday, the 7 count, let me walk you through quickly. He was slapped with 7 count, like I mentioned, and if you look at the count, 1, causing harm, that's 1. Threat of death, that's 2. Threat of harm, that's 3. Physical abuse, that is 4. And 5, you have engaging in domestic violence. And then domestic violence charges come with 3 different forms. The first one, domestic violence, namely sexual assault. Domestic violence, namely emotional abuse. And domestic violence, namely conduct or behavior that in any way detracts or is likely to detract from another person's dignity or worth as a human being. And John Odate Lamte pleaded not guilty to all of them. And then now he has been remanded to reappear sometime in December 16. But you know that there's another person who earlier, 2 persons were picked.
Yes.
A sister and another person. That one other person is no more on the charge sheet that was put before the court yesterday.
Okay.
But the direct sister, Grace Lamte, was also charged for a threat of harm. Was have enumerated to you, you can commit an action, but within that space of things that you did, there are so many crimes that can be deduced from anything. So 7 charges or 7 counts, he denied all of them, and he has been remanded into lawful custody to appeal.
And it's quite interesting how people are asking, how is he pleading not guilty? Like,
and if I'm not guilty, I'm not guilty.
Yeah, but you see, that's the beauty of the law.
Of course,
the onus now lies on the prosecution to be able to prove the case beyond a reasonable doubt.
So let me tell you something about situations like that. So in court, when there's a crime has been alleged or an act is committed and the accused person is arraigned and you plead not guilty, the law is saying that you are as innocent as anybody. However, if it's proven, that is where you find yourself wanting, because now at some point in time there's a range. The judges have ranges of punishment to issue. For instance, misdemeanor, the maximum is 3 years. So you can go to court charged with a misdemeanor, and on your first day, if you plead guilty simpliciter, the chances are that you attract a lesser punishment. But if you take the court through the full trial, and at the end of the day, it appears to the court that you do not show remorse, you do not show any iota of some level of remorse, like I said, then it means, 1, you didn't show remorse. 2, you wasted the time of the court, you wasted the time of the state, and all these things will go into the decision that the judge will take. So if on your first day you decide that, okay, I have looked at the whole thing, let me just plead, you can even be fined. You can even be given, if 3 years, you can even be given a year.
There's some leniency when you plead guilty.
Absolutely.
But when
if you decide to go the full trot,
then that's a risk you're taking.
At the end. But you can also finish and also get the least punishment at the end. Who knows? It depends on the luck that you show and all of that. So in respect of this case, December 16, it will come up again.
Absolutely. Well, we'll be waiting for that. And but we know that in courts there are more things happening. Sexy don't know. Yesterday we talked about him as well.
Yes.
And how things are progressing in this matter.
Yeah, GHOne star. Yesterday I saw him and then he said hi to me in court. It's been a while now. We have been friends in quotes, because almost every now and then when the case is called, he sees me in the court. So now, yesterday he was in court, and I tell you that Justice Kizita Nako Akwashi, who this case is now before the retrial, is on leave because she sat throughout the legal vacation. So this case was put before the relieving judge, Justice Marie Louise Simmons, the criminal court 2, and then it has been adjourned. So the case of Sexy Don Daniel Isiedu, that case has been adjourned. So we are showing the videos of Nana Agrada.
Right. So another adjournment in Sexy Don Don's case.
Yes.
Like the judges themselves, they want to do things fast.
Not where the case has gotten to. There's nothing, because they are waiting for the retrial to begin. A new jury will be empaneled before the trial takes off. And like I said, the substantive judge is on leave currently, and then the relieving judge is only to hold forth. And again, because the accused person is in lawful custody, the court every now and then will have to check whether he indeed is in lawful custody. Remember, an accused person is as innocent as anybody until proven otherwise. So as we speak, Sexy Don GHOne star is an innocent person. The only difference is that he's being held in lawful custody by way of remand.
Okay. So I know quite a number of things coming up. Agrada, is she as innocent as Sexy Don as we speak?
So as we speak, Nana Agrada is not innocent. Yeah, Nana Agrada is in trouble. Yeah. So yesterday when I was on radio, now they did talk about the fact that I mentioned a certain name, Josephine. Have you heard the name Josephine?
Josephine?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, there's another name that is coming up. For now, we know Patricia is here.
Yes.
Yeah, a.k.a. Nana Agrada.
There's also Josephine?
There's a name coming up in Josephine. I've been told that Mr. Siaman, right? That's the husband. Okay. I'm saying that there's a new name coming up for Nana Agrada. So maybe very soon.
So a female Joseph who went through trial, was put in prison, came out.
You know the story behind that.
Potiphar's wife threw him into prison. He came out as a prime minister.
I'm so happy that you know the story.
Of course.
I actually didn't know the story.
I mean, I'm a member of the Assemblies of God Church. I go for Sunday school.
They are really exhibiting what they have learned.
I'm sure my Sunday school teacher, my children,
will be proud of you.
But she's dead, by the way.
Yeah, so rest in
peace.
peace.
Mrs. Darioche.
Sharp.
God rest her soul.
You're actually living here. You are just showing what.
I like it when you say that, because my enemies will say all be lie.
But I could be part of your enemies. Who knows?
You're my friend. But Agrada.
Yeah. So the day before yesterday, she was at the High Court in relation to the nude one. This one that you are seeing was the first time that she made an appearance at the Amasaman High Court. and at the Asama High Court, somebody will ask, what is she doing there? Remember that the circuit court convicted and sentenced her to 15 years in prison. She is appealing against that, and a criminal appeal from the circuit court will go to the High Court. So it is this case is before the Amasaman High Court, and today the court is expected to hear. I'm choosing my words carefully because you can go and things may change as and when. The court is expected to deal with the appeal filed by the Nagrada. What they are saying is that the conclusion that was reached by the circuit court was in error, and so they want the High Court, or they are appealing against the 15-year custodial sentence. There are so many things to happen. If it is heard and the court is to consider it, one, if there is evidence on record that shows that, yes, the conclusion, the facts on record did not support the conclusion, then, of course, the High Court may have to intervene or may have to interfere with the decision taken by the circuit court. If the court also looked at it and said, okay, yes, there is evidence to show that you are guilty of the punishment or the charges as has been dealt with, the conviction that has been done, then the court will say, okay, the minimum is 10 years. 15 years, okay, let me bring you to minimum 10 years. Then the court will also look at it and say, okay, I have looked at all the evidence on record, but I think that the court at this point cannot interfere with the decision taken by the circuit court. Then that will maintain the 15 years. But the court can also enhance it. That is the most dangerous aspect of this when you are going on appeal. If you don't have a proper case, an exceptional case that will succeed or will overturn the decision that you have, sometimes if you go there, you can have your punishment enhanced. And I have always seen the case of two young men who were before the court for robbery and all of that, and they said that they were given 10 years, which robbery without offensive weapon, the minimum is around 10 years. Now, they came to court. The court looked at the situation. They went to the circuit court, all right, 10 years they were given. They said it's too much, it's too harsh. So they came to the High Court for a reduction, and they came, and then it was enhanced to 15 years. Can you imagine?
Charlie.
So that is so you need to really think through before you take the next step, because you might be thinking you want for you are going for a reduction, and you go in there and then it will be enhanced. Yeah. So Nana Agrada today is appearing before the court. Let's hope and see whether probably something will be done, and then Christmas is just away, and Josephine probably, who knows.
But then Chairman Wontumi is also back in court over the Akonta mining case and matters horizon.
Yes. So you note that Chairman Wontumi's case is in twofold. We have been talking about one in recent time, but there's one in controversy, and that is what a lot of people probably will easily remember. This is the one coming out today is the one that the general manager of Akonta Mining has decided to testify against him. So that is the case. And this is the first day that Chairman Wontumi was arraigned, charged, pleaded not guilty, and was granted bail. At this point in time, he had not met the bail conditions, so he wasn't taken by CID officials or security officers to the security agency, their premises, just so they can pass through all the Deputy Attorney General, Dr. Mensah, and state attorneys leaving the premise. And this day, the day that he was arraigned, was really a rainy day. Of course, justice delivery didn't stop there. Whether it is raining like today, so justice will have to be served. And then he's leading the team of state attorneys from the premises of the court to the office, and they are walking actually. So, lawyer for Chairman Wontumi, the Apia Kubi, all of that. So today, we expected to see all these parties in court, and then the judge, the substantive judge in respect of this leg of the case, Justice Rubiaite, is also on leave. She sat through during the course of the legal vacation, and as per the practice, the judges who sat in the course of the legal vacation, when the new legal year resumes, they also have the opportunity to also go and take some rest. So this case, the relieving judge will be Justice Marie Louise Simmons of the Criminal Court 4. But what is clear when it comes out to such unless there's a motion to be dealt with, the court only will have to adjourn to wait for the substantive judge.
Absolutely. And still coming up is the Ofankor landlord murder case, and we are expecting that as well.
Henry Nana Kankam is expected in court today. He notes that Benjamin Otri,
a spiritual man.
Yes. So he comes to court with a lot of support. He comes to court with a lot of. I asked Ewa and Lily about this sort of costume dressing. Which church?
Well, usually it's associated with the Catholic Church. But then there's another stretch, which is the people who call themselves the Jide Koko, the spiritual
Oh,
ones.
okay.
So what some people would call awoyo or something, you know. Sometimes it's red garment, sometimes it's white garment. Usually they are depicting the Old Testament believer who was all robed up and they'll tie it with some red belt sometimes, and then
So that's the kind of support that they are. Sometimes they are more than this. People come in, dressing in this way, come in, lend support to him. But there are days that he also come alone in respect of. So today we are expecting Nana Kankam to appear. And this is the case that he's alleged to have shot his tenant on the very day that the tenant rent was due and was supposed to whether renew or to pack out. There was a misunderstanding, a gunshot fired, somebody died, and being held for Benjamin Oche's murder. Prosecution led by Mrs. Sefa Korbache, a chief state attorney, is still calling her witnesses, and today they'll be before Justice Marie Lewis Simmons for further continuation of the trial.
Absolutely. Mutala, what next are we going to look out for today?
Yes, I'm sure you can identify the men on your screen. Which of them can you identify?
Oh, so I see Julius Debra, I see Paul Bafoboni.
Yes.
And then, of course, your very good friend,
Yes, Samuel Afoteotu. So today, the Chief Justice will be addressing the staff, will be having an engagement with the staff on staff welfare. So this is the case that is coming, and the Chief of Staff, Julius Debra, Honorable Julius Debra, is expected to be there. And then, of course, the Chief Justice will be addressing them. And then the President of the Judicial Service Staff Association of Ghana, Samuel Afoteotu, will also be there. And, of course, all the people who matters in the justice delivery system will be there. So our cameras will be there. And tomorrow when you come, we'll give you an update in relation to what is happening or what has taken place in all of that. So that will be all for court today. So these are the things that you should be expecting.
Definitely. Mutala, thank you so much.
But let me take you to Efutu once again.
Right.
Efutu Municipal.
Ah, yes, your brother.
Yeah. It's that Joshua. Chief Joshua, good morning to you. You are watching that this morning. He said he likes your jacket.
Yeah. It's actually made in Ghana, you know.
So he will get you one more. So
yeah.
I'll let
you. Exactly. But I should bring them and I'll bite myself. And our very good friends at Fufu Boutique, they have a surprise for us this afternoon as well.
Okay.
So but I told them you don't take fufu, so they bring in mutuo, kokonte, and all of that.
Yes, so I understand that Honorable Patrick Boama will also be at the program. That they are. So we'll be expecting all of them this morning.
Mutala,
profile people to attend the forum.
It's poor there. Thank you so much. Mutala Inusa with Court today here on GA Today. We'll be right back after this. Stay with us. Well, you're still watching GA Today here on GHOne television with me, Joshua Kodjo Mensah. Let's do Inside Out. And of course, on Inside Out today, we are talking about the OSP and lawyer Martin Kpebu's, the fracas between the two officers. In fact, the office and the person of Martin Kpebu. Now, we are told by Mr. Kpebu's lawyers that yesterday he was invited to the office of the special prosecutor. He got there, he was granting media interviews as well, and then got into an altercation with an officer at the office of the special prosecutor. And per the account of his lawyers, right after that, Mr. Kpebu was arrested, and he was told that to be granted bail, he needed to provide a property, landed property in his name. Now, this is the account of his lawyers. A landed property in his name with one surety. Now, the lawyers say that once they left the premises of the OSP to their office to get those bail conditions met, which was about 10 minutes drive, they returned only to meet the absence of lawyer Martin Kpebu. And as at around 8 p.m. last night, they did not know his whereabouts. That raised a lot of issues with people basically chronicling their own understanding into what might have happened to Martin Kpebu. But later on last night, we are told that he has been released. Now, we are able to speak to Martin Kpebu to get to understand exactly what his account is. But even before we get to that, the Office of the Special Prosecutor has also come out with some explanations to what really ensued. And that happens or appears to be a far cry from what we are being told by lawyers of Martin Kpebu. So it's more of a case of he said, she said. Where's the truth? Ibrahim Al-Hassan has joined me. Ibrahim, so I'm sure that last night you were also bombarded with phone calls on this matter.
Most definitely. In fact, I got calls from colleagues of Martin Kpebu and, of course, individuals who are close associates, right? They could not tell where Martin Kpebu had been taken to. And I'm sure, per the accounts of Sami Dakun, he was moved to a holding place, and the laws were strictly followed. But then, of course, family members, close acquaintances, colleagues were worried, right? So, yes, I got calls, and the calls were urging us to pile up pressure on the system here being OSP. Of course, so later that night, or yesterday, we were told that indeed Martin Kpebu had been released. And of course, I was in touch with him as well, and indicated that he had been released. Per his account, it's because somebody insulted him and insulted the person back. A military uniformed individual at the OSP insulted him. But per the accounts of Sami Dakun, that was not what happened. There was an unruly behavior that could be described as disruptive, right? An attack on law enforcement officers. And if you read his narrative, he concludes that the behavior that Martin Kpebu put up, if he had done that in any other investigative body, premises of any other investigative body, he would have been arrested.
Okay.
Right.
Well, Ibrahim, hold on for me. Lawyer Martin Kpebu is joining us on phone now. One of his lawyers basically joining us on phone now to also get, so that we can get a clearer picture on this particular matter. Counsel, thank you so much for your time this morning. So how is Martin Kpebu doing as we speak?
Yeah, Martin Kpebu is doing very well. He's doing very well. So I believe by now he's heading towards his office. Like I did towards his office to meet up with you.
Walk us through what happened yesterday, because we seem to be getting contrasting reports from the Office of the Special Prosecutor. In fact, the head of communications at the office, Sami Dakun, has put out a write-up that says that indeed Martin Kpebu was not arrested in connection with any of the accusations is made against the office and the Special Prosecutor himself, but because he was engaged in some unruly behavior yesterday, which was deemed obstructive as well, for which reason he was arrested. Talk to me about what surrounded his arrest.
Yes. To some extent, we can't say that his arrest was in connection with the allegations made. But the fact remains that he attended upon their invitation. And then while we were at the premises, Martin left, went outside of the premises and granted an interview. It was on his return that an officer of the OSP, who was manning the gate, so that the police officers on duty and some soldiers were not happy that Martin had gone to grant an interview. Let me repeat, this interview was held outside the premises of the OSP. So they cautioned Martin that the next time he was at the OSP, he would not be allowed to grant an interview outside. And Martin told them that they had no such mandate. They couldn't have stopped him from granting an interview. The altercation all started. So apparently an officer insulted him that he was a stupid man. And naturally you expect that he will respond to an insult. Then he came back and said, yes, you are also stupid. That was it. So we proceeded to where we were supposed to report and have the inquiry, or meet the inquiry board. And then we even raised that issue.
Well, Counsel.
Their reception.
Counsel.
Yes.
I don't know if you've seen Sami Darko's write-up, but from the write-up, and let me read that part to you. He says that the guards reminded him that photography and videography are not permitted around the premises. He reacted angrily to the reminder and insulted the guards. So, per the release or the write-up from the OSP's office, it says that Martin rather abused the guards when they only reminded him that, Mr. Kpebu, you're not supposed to be conducting interviews around the office because videography is not allowed, photography as well is not allowed. And Martin Kpebu says, who are you? Who is your boss? Even he's nobody, he'll be removed. So the claim is that Martin Kpebu rather insulted them first.
That is not correct. That is not correct. Like I indicated in my earlier submission, Martin had this interview at the OSP's office. It was nowhere near the OSP's office.
It was at the Yam Sellers place.
It was their facility. That facility belongs to another state agency, CCG. Within, and not within the precinct. So they can claim ownership of that territory. It's a public space. So they cannot be restricting anybody from getting an interview. In fact, the journalists themselves raised objections to the fact that they could not have granted an interview within the premises of another institution. It was Martin who actually calmed them down and said that, okay, you know what, let's move a bit further. Then, after the interview, they start to reprimand Martin for granting the interview outside their premises. No, we can't proceed in this manner.
Right. So,
and like I indicated, we were the very first persons to lay complaint against the officer. So when Martin returned and we requested that we wanted to lay a complaint at their complaint center, they told us that the complaint center was not available to take our complaint. So we proceeded to where we were supposed to have a meeting with their officers, and there is that very issue before the officers presiding. And they said, okay, they were going to investigate the matter and return back to us in some few minutes. They did about 30 minutes and came back to tell us that Martin was rather the one to be charged for obstructing an officer or of the special prosecutor. We don't know the kind of lawful duty that this officer was performing that Martin had obstructed. Well, apparently, I saw Martin. He walked through the gate. It was when the security man spoke to him that he spoke back.
Counsel, the response from the OSP also says that even after all of this, Martin was arrested, bail conditions were set. And one of your colleagues, a female lawyer, they say, also got angry and even hurled insults at them. And they say they have that on recording as well.
That is not correct. The female officer only requested that if you are taking my client to specified location, please take me along so that I can provide him with legal counsel. That is all that she said. She said, look, I am willing to go with Martin to wherever you are relocating him to. At least let me know where you are taking him to. So I think Martin has a family. He has friends. So I can communicate to them that Martin is being held at this particular station. Please, the man must be fair even in detention. You can't take that right away from him.
Mm. So how do you respond to claims from the OSP that all that happened with Mr. Martin Kpebu yesterday was done according to the law, according to due process, and at no point was he denied counsel?
In fact, I have already described the situation as an unnecessary show of power. Very unnecessary. This matter could have gone. In fact, when they granted bail, can you imagine obstructing an officer of the OSP, abstract the condition of landed property in your personal name? Landed property in your personal name. In addition to that, you have to provide one surety. Who does that? In fact, when people were arrested for allegedly committing high offenses, where these bail conditions now were handed over to them.
Right.
This commentary that the OSP cannot arrest persons who are fleeing the jurisdiction, flee from justice within the jurisdiction. He has the power to handcuff individuals who are come to assist him in investigating matters brought against himself.
Right. Well, we are told that you're to make an appearance at 11 today.
Yeah, he will be there.
Absolutely. Well, Counsel, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate your side of the story as well. So that's Marcellinus Biahis, member of the legal team of Martin Kpebu, speaking to us, giving us their side of the story as well. So looks like the account from yesterday from them has not changed. But then they are disputing all that has been put out by Samuel Dakron from the OSP's perspective.
Yes. So it's an interesting development. It's an interesting but needless development, if you ask me, right? Because as we speak, nobody is investigating Martin Kpebu over a corrupt act or a suspected corrupt act, right? But he also made allegations against the office, described the office as corrupt, right? So the office says, if you say we are corrupt, back your claim with evidence. On what basis do you make that claim? Well, nobody will sit here and tell me that if anybody says the office of the special prosecutor is corrupt, it's not taking something away from that office. Yes, it is. That's an office set up to fight grafts, corruption and corruption-related offenses. So if a legal practitioner of the standing of Martin Kpebu says, he just doesn't believe, he says that office is engaged in corrupt activities, right? It obviously is not something that can be ignored. And I've heard many people say that, no. If you ignore, it means I will believe that indeed what he's saying is true. And wherever I was holding the office to, I'll drop it down. You get a point.
But isn't that why people are also saying, well, the office is investigating itself in this matter?
Okay. That's where I'll say it to. So in this case, what can the office do per law? The office now says Kpebu was not under arrest. They had invited Kpebu to find out what the claims are. Because, see, Kissi Jabin is the head of the office. He's not the only one who works there.
Right.
If indeed there are other elements within the OSP who are corrupt, and Martin Kpebu or whoever makes a claim comes to the office and says, A, B, C, D is what I have, that's aiding the work of the office, right? So the office has been very cautious in telling us that Kpebu is not under arrest. The invitation to solicit information, right? And then what happened yesterday happened, which we told is obstruction and unruly behavior, right? And what have you. Like I said, when you go to farm and you bring a log home, you've invited termites, right? when you go to a farm and decide to bring a log home, you've invited termites.
Right.
So yeah, we can only wish both of them well. Trust me.
At this point, that's all we can do for them. But we know people will be going back there at 11 a.m. today.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we don't see the scene we saw or we heard of yesterday. And Charlie, like you said, very needless. But hey, this is Ghana. Ghana we day, like you always say.
Yes, Ghana we day.
Ibrahim Hassan, thank you so much
most
for helping us appreciate the issues surrounding Lawyer Akpebu and then the Office of the Special Prosecutor. But we'll take a break. When we return, my guest will be seated. We'll get into the conversations for this morning. Thank you so much for staying on with us. This is GA Today here on GHOne Television, and it's time to get into the breakfast review segment. I've been joined by one of my guests for this morning, Charles Bawadwa. He's Member of Parliament for Bongo, and he's also a legal practitioner as well. And so he's well suited to get into the conversations that we'll be touching on today. Charles, welcome.
Thank you very much.
I hope you're doing very well.
I'm fine. Let me say good morning to my constituents as well and the people of Ghana. It's a rainy morning.
Yes.
You can see the environment, the atmosphere is fresher this morning than it usually is.
Absolutely.
Yesterday, parts of Accra were choked. People had difficulty getting home.
Yes.
But this morning, I think somehow the roads are clear.
Yeah.
Nicer. Well, they've been washed by the natural rain. We can only thank God for that.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And how are your constituents in Bongo? How are they doing?
Yes, my constituents are doing well, except that we are mourning. In recent times, there's a spate of armed robbery.
Oh.
Yeah, that is rising very high. And they are targeting motor riders. Just last Sunday, I was home. I think it was on Saturday night, rather. A young man from the Gamborongo electoral area who was riding his motorbike was attacked and shot dead by armed robbers. They took his motorbike away. This has been reported to the police, and we are hoping that a thorough investigation will be gone into this matter and that we can be able to apprehend the perpetrators. The same night, another community called Dua, armed robbers went and attacked and took all the proceeds of the day from a bar. You know, they threatened the attendant and took all that away. So this is something that is currently, unfortunately, happening in the Upper East region generally. And I think that the police need to step up their patrols to ensure that we are going into the festive season and people should not live in fear of being attacked, especially when you are moving in the evening.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, we'll call on the police to step up efforts in Bongo and the Upper East region, like he said, because we need an event-free Christmas celebration as well. We've also been joined by our next guest, who is Member of Parliament for Ifia. He's also a lawyer, Isaac Boamanyako. Welcome.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. I hope you're doing well.
By grace, I'm good.
Nice. And how are your constituents doing?
Oh, they are doing well. Let me say good morning to our cherished viewers and to my brother. Sympathize with the incident happening in his constituency. Yesterday, we had Brekum, Member of Parliament, also raising an urgent statement with regards to the state of armed robbery along the Brekum-Sampa Jenny Road. Also because of the poor nature of the road, and then they taking away precious properties of people and putting their lives at risk. So hearing him share similar sentiments makes it worrying. And I made a call to the Inspector General of Police. If they need special assistance at the divisional level, then we need to speed up our security so that they'll be fine. But back to my constituency, everything is fine. This weekend we are starting a sports festival I'm sponsoring. We call it the annual community gala, where I bring together all the youth teams in the constituency, not for fun, but to unearth talent for the future, to support the Division 2, Division 1, Premiership, as well as even the national team. We have been able to secure the services of the Chief Scout Head of Ghana Football Association, Mr. McLaren. He is coming to the constituency on Friday, Saturday, with a lot of scouters into the community so that we can unearth talents. Currently, as I speak to you, the National Under-17 team, the goalkeeper comes from my constituency. And there's so much huge football talent, and I think this is one of the ways I want to support the activities of the youth, and it's gonna be good. If you have time, send your team.
We should come over.
Exactly, come and cover it so that we can also
Absolutely.
show how well we are contributing to sports development in this country.
Congratulations on that, by the way.
Thank you.
All right, so let's get into the issues for today, and I'm sure that you both being lawyers, you've also followed the narrative. In fact, with regards to Martin Pebu, the Office of the Special Prosecutor, he was detained. We are built to speak to him on the show, by the way, but we spoke to his lawyer a short while ago, giving account of what really transpired yesterday, which is in sharp contrast to what Samida Akon has put out from the Office of the Special Prosecutor as to what really necessitated his arrest, his detention, and subsequent granting of bail. But Charles, let me come to you. Let me start with you on this. Having heard both sides and all that happening, what's your take?
Well, I followed the news this morning. I heard Martin Pebu narrate his side of the story.
Yes.
I have not heard that of the side of the special prosecutor. But I think that, look, in all this, it's always very easy sometimes to find the truth. Because it is alleged that Martin Pebu was involved in an altercation with security operatives at the Office of the Special Prosecutor, the basis upon which he was arrested. Now, that is a security area, right? I'm sure that they will have cameras, that will capture what actually happened. They cannot tell us that being a security zone, especially where security operatives are working, and the nature of the Office of the Special Prosecutor, there are no cameras to show. So if it is the case that the narrative as presented by lawyer Martin Pebu, to the effect that he was insulted by a security man, that he was stupid, to which he responded likewise that he too was stupid, and this exchange, they went about 3 rounds on this expressing the stupidity of either side. Thereafter, they arrested him on the basis that he was obstructing the operations of security, agencies. I think that the videos will show what happened. And I think that the Special Prosecutor's Office, they have the capability, the ability to release this video because they operate the cameras. So I'm sure that if they are desirous of letting us know the truth, rather than putting us in a situation whether we are trying to find out whether it is people who is speaking the truth or the Special Prosecutor who will say otherwise is speaking the truth. Let them release the video. But I know Martin Pebu. I know that he's a man of his words. He will not, for any reason, say things that did not happen.
Right.
At the Office of the Special Prosecutor. So
because it's quite interesting because the Special Prosecutor's head of communications has released a write-up that suggested that, well, contrary to the claims of Martin Pebu, it was him who rather hurled insults at the security officer. You say they have cameras, so it will be easy to determine. But they didn't state that they would be able to deal with that. But they also said that they had video recordings, or they have recordings of one of Martin Pebu's lawyers insulting their people there.
Let them release the entire camera video coverage for the period. We will view it. We will hear what transpired. I will take the decision. We will reach our conclusions by ourselves.
Right.
They are quick to cite what Martin Pebu's lawyer probably said or did not say. How about the entire video? Let's have it. Because I am sure that lawyers who have come with their clients, to the Office of Special Prosecutor upon an invitation will not come there insulting people for whatever reason. And like you said, we have all practiced law before. You don't go to a police station or an investigation department or unit of a security institution and start insulting people. Something must have happened. So they must tell us the true story of what transpired.
Right.
And thereupon, we will make our own judgment and conclusion of the situation.
Okay. Well, Isaac, let's bring you into the conversation. Does any of this surprise you, by the way?
Oh, interesting. For me, I always wonder why we're creating a monster out of the Office of the Special Prosecutor's Office. Why? What is the Office of the Special Prosecutor? It's just an investigative body that leads to preferring prosecution against corruption-related incidents. If you are going to the Office of the Special Prosecutor, it is not a dungeon. It is not supposed to be a detention center. You go freely with your lawyers. You are given access to a place. You are interrogated or investigated. If there's a reason for you to be granted bail, arrested and granted bail, so be it. But it is becoming one too many, as if now Special Prosecutor's Office is more or less like the BNI or NIB office, where when you are invited to go, or Yoku, when you are invited to go, it's like you cannot come back, you'll be arrested, detained, and we're creating unnecessary monster out of this. And that is for me where my worry is as a governance person, that we create institutions to serve a purpose. And the purpose is to serve the good people of Ghana. Nobody's rights can be fundamentally obstructed when the person has committed no crime. So if Martin Pebu was invited and he came, and according to the special prosecutor, he was being obstructive. If someone is being obstructive, you have various levels of handling the obstruction. If the obstruction is not something that leads to some fights or other things, you find a way of GHOne, resolving the matter, and then you move on with your case. But small obstruction or whatever, I don't know, my other colleague is asking for a full video. You think it's enough for you to detain a citizen of this country who has been invited for some investigation? I think we are treating this whole process with a lot of this.
So you believe that the detention was high-handedness?
Completely unnecessary. You see, we are using the powers, the coercive powers of the state to intimidate, to frustrate, and to make Ghanaians feel bad. Why? You've invited me. Why should it be an end product that I'll be arrested? Why are you arresting the gentleman? Is he not a Ghanaian? Have you arrested him? Have you detained him lawfully? Why are you, just because you think he obstructed a process, you can't resolve the obstruction but to detain him? Why have they released him now? What was it
he met bail conditions.
Oh, please. Why is it that at that particular moment you couldn't resolve it and allow him to go home? So that we can see state institutions as being fair, as being candid in the way they do their things. But this practice where YOKO, NIB, Office of the Special Prosecutor's Office are all being used as arms of intimidating citizens who freely express their view. The Constitution guarantees freedom of speech. Yes, of course, it has its own limitations. Yes. So if someone goes above board, we have several ways of handling the matter. But where we are using institutions of state to intimidate people and try to cow people, this country, people fought for its liberties. People fought and gave us the freedom that we have. And all of us are obliged to protect the freedoms that this Constitution guarantees us. And so state institutions should be minded. And with no exception, I think the conduct of the Special Prosecutor's Office is becoming unbecoming and one too many.
Because they have stated that nothing was done out of the processes or laid down constitutional processes in the discharge of their duties when it comes to Martin Pebu being arrested, Martin Pebu being detained, bail conditions set, and then finally he being released.
You see, I always say that the spirit and the letters of the law should be read together. The law has been created. Everybody is supposed to abide by the provisions of the law. But in between the hard copy of the law, we have the spirit of the law. People have discretions that they exercise. The Constitution imposes the ways in which we measure the exercise of discretion. And so you can tell me that, yes, I followed all the due processes and I'm in line with the law. But in the sense of the spirit of the law, you should also be mindful and guided that you are there as an institution of state to protect the rights and the interests of the citizenry. Right. So yes, you can always use the law to support your actions, and the law will give you that leeway. But when we read in between it, we are also flouting a lot of the standards that we want to set when it comes to freedom and it being enshrined and it being enjoyed by the citizenry. And so state institutions should be mindful. Yes, you have the power to arrest. Yes, you have the power to detain. But could you have arrested and still allowed the person to go on bail without necessarily being detained? Don't we have that also as part of the law? So why do you choose the harshest part when there are other mechanisms through the same law that can be seen? You see, the law should not just be to be seen, but it has to be everybody should see and know that we are applying it fairly.
Right.
And so that is my position, that state institutions, YOCO, the NIB, this now special prosecutor bringing the office within those remits. It is important as citizens of this country to speak to their faces and let them understand that they are paid by taxpayers' money. They are supposed to protect the rights of citizens. They are not supposed to use those offices to cow us, to infringe upon our rights, and to try and intimidate us as citizens. That will not work. As I state on your studio, I am free to air my concerns about the Special Prosecutor's Office. If you are unhappy about what I say, you don't go and find other means just to think that, oh, this man is always on radio, he's in parliament, always chastising my office, so let me go and see what I can use to bring him down. That is what we are doing in this country. The moment they see that you are speaking against the corridors of power or against certain individuals, then they find mechanisms to try and intimidate and to stop you. But nobody can do that. In this dispensation, we will not allow that to happen.
Right.
And the special prosecutor should be mindful. The arrest of Martin Pebu, for me, was unwarranted, was unnecessary, and he could have handled that better.
And Charles, same question in terms of the office saying that we follow due process. I mean, it's not because it was Martin Pebu. It's just because of the act and not the person.
You see, there are several provisions in our law concerning arrest, detention, bail conditions, and all that. There's a minimum to a maximum. The operatives who are exercising that discretion have a duty to decide what conditions to impose, the nature of the arrest, and all that, depending on the circumstances of each case. Now, so why will you arrest and detain Martin Pebu over an altercation?
It doesn't make sense.
Why? A verbal, not even a fiscal attack, as it were, a verbal one. Then you detain him. And what is even more serious, you impose very harsh bail conditions that he should bring landed documents
In his name.
in his own name, not even the name of somebody else. The person that you have kept in your custody must now go and produce a document in his own name. Meanwhile, you are keeping him. Who doesn't know Martin Pebu? Where will Martin Pebu go or escape or run away because of this case? Definitely not. So the entire tactics that the Office of the Special Prosecutor used was to embarrass him and to cow him into intimidation. And I know Martin Pebu, that will not intimidate him. If Martin Pebu says anything that you are unhappy with, like my colleague said, there are processes for dealing with it. Why do you use the state? The law also allows you for him to let him sign a self-reconnaissance bill and go. Why did you not give him that option? Why must it have to be having to landed property? He brings that one, by which time you have already taken him to a different location. So clearly, this was an unnecessary exercise of indiscretion on the part of the special prosecutor And I hope that we shouldn't allow these things continue to happen, because it embarrasses state institutions. You have not even tried the case, you have not investigated the case to ascertain whether or not this person is guilty of what you are alleging, and yet you seek to punish him using the state, as the vehicle for punishing a citizen of this country. I think we ought not to allow that.
Well, it's one of the things that the office has rejected. They say, well, this arrest was in no way linked to the comments Martin people had already made about the SP. In fact, he was coming for that meeting. And so this was strictly because of obstruction.
What obstruction was it? You call somebody a stupid person, he retorts that you are also stupid.
And in the statement, they say that it was Martin people who was just hurling insults at the officer, because the officer sought to remind him that this is a security zone. You don't take photographs and then videos around the security zone.
So, you can see that that's a statement that clearly massaged the language as to appear that Martin people was rather the aggressor. When in fact Martin says the reverse, that they were the aggressors. So that is why I think that the video will settle this one once and for all. But you call this man over something else. Why did you not concentrate on those things? Why do you divert attention to some other alleged altercation that happened with the security operatives, whilst you leave out the fact that you had invited him for the third time over something that you said you were investigating? I think it was most unnecessary, and it has unnecessarily taken the time and energy of most people this morning.
Absolutely,
we didn't need to go into that.
Okay, well, let me come back to you, Isaac, and let's talk about one of the concerns that your side has raised in Parliament, the minority, because we are told that so far there have been 7 petitions for the removal of the EC chair and her deputies, 3 for the removal of Kisei Jabin as special prosecutor, and you say this is clearly the state going after, or the administration going after the heads of these institutions. Why do you see it as such? Because we are told that these petitions were from Ghanaians, and the president is only acting in accordance with the law to ferry same to the Chief Justice.
All right, so it still comes back to the first conversation that we are a country governed by laws, and so everybody has a right to exercise whatever powers that the law has made provision for. It includes anybody petitioning the office of the president for the removal of any government official, particularly those constitutional, independent constitutional bodies. Article 146 of our constitution makes that provision that if anybody is dissatisfied with the conduct, whether unstated, to remove anybody of such nature, is either unstated, stated misbehavior, whether the person is incapable of performing his functions, amongst others. And so anybody who finds a reason to come under any of the reasons upon which someone should be removed has the right to petition. The Constitution makes provision that when the president receives a petition, in the case of those independent constitutional bodies like the EC and the rest, he refers it to the Chief Justice, who so much may establish a prima facie against that individual. And if he's satisfied that there's a question for the person to answer, it is referred to a committee who would look at it, advise, and then the same is forwarded to the president for action. So the constitutional provision is laid down, and that is where we are seeing. But I have said time and again that we've been practicing this constitution since 1992. 93, when we had our first president, and we've had instances where these provisions have been tested. It was tested against the former EC chair, Charlotte Osei. It was tested against who again? So we've had 1 or 2 instances where the provision has been tested. What is becoming a new phenomenon, which is worrying, is the fact that political parties have now made it a point that if we are unhappy with the conduct of 7 people in capacities, when there is a change of government, we are going to find a reason to remove you from that office. That is a new phenomena I have seen developing, and which is worrying. It is for good reason that those offices were created as independent bodies.
Right.
So that irrespective of your political persuasion, if they do anything that you are unhappy, they are still protected because they are supposed to take those actions in the best interest of this country. The Chief Justice that has been removed, we've had this conversation long ago.
Yes.
We've had it when NDC were in opposition, making claims that they are unhappy with the judgments coming from the court. And so when they have the opportunity and they come to power, they will clean the system. I have cited His Excellency, the President today, in June 2024, when he met the lawyers who are aligned to the NDC, made a similar call that he is not happy. And I have all the Joy FM publications. If I'm challenged, I'll just produce them and read it to you, where he said that because of the way the judiciary is now functioning, he doesn't have confidence in them. And so at the end of the day, he will try to seek to review or what have you. I will go back to it. So that intention had been there when they were in opposition. Similarly, on the part of the Electoral Commission, they have said time and again, published in various newspapers, that when they come to power, they will make sure that the EC and her deputies are all removed based on the conduct that they were doing. Now, this is where I find it interesting. You know that to remove the EC chair,
yes,
you have to send a petition to the Chief Justice, like it has triggered. So they had to scheme and find out, okay, if we have Gertrude Arbe Sabatokonu as Chief Justice, then we want to remove these people. And the petition comes and we send it to Tokonu. What is our likely end? So that's why we can't trust the Chief Justice. Let's push Gertrude Tokonu out. Then we have a new Chief Justice that we think we can rely on. And then we will trigger the rest. So it is a well-orchestrated, schemed machination.
You believe all of this was planned?
Oh, schemed neatly. We are politicians. Schemed neatly, using the same law, using the same constitutional provisions. And here, I'm not impugning it on the president so-called, nor the NDC party as an organization. But because people who are affiliated with them have those interests, and those interests may come from the top down, all of these things will be triggered. And that is why now we have that of the Chief Justice, the EC chair, because it's been long in coming. People have, even as Sedun Ketia, has said it over and over again that EC chair there, we will remove her. And so that is where we are. The threat to our political democratic dispensation. And that is why I kept warning ourselves as a people that the path that we are setting very dangerous precedents.
Right.
I will not be in the mood to say that, oh, when there's a change of government and MPP comes to power, we would also be looking forward to removing any Chief Justice that is appointed or any EC chair that is appointed. But nobody can be stopped based on this precedent that my colleagues have created to also use similar channels to try and remove the people that they bring into power. And then we'll weaken the institutions of state. Right. That is my problem. We are weakening statutory institutions. We are politicizing virtually all independent constitutional bodies. And this is where we are heading towards. With regards to the special prosecutor, oh yes, for him, I have said, creating the office of the special prosecutor was for a good cause. But we've not had the benefit of the office of the special prosecutor. And I think that the challenge with that office is the people that we have appointed into that office. First was Martin Amidu.
Yes.
He was to lay the foundation. We believed from his background that he was going to do a good job. He ended up left, right, center, and then had to go. Now, Kiseja, being a very young, enterprising lawyer, so known, believing that he could come and do that job. 4 years, 5 years down the line, I think he has failed abysmally in terms of deliverables that were said to him. See, yesterday, Parliament was approving the budget of the Attorney General, which includes that of the Office of the Special Prosecutor. 2025, we budgeted for over 130-something million for his office. This year, we're going to almost 200 million for his office. And you ask yourself, over the five years, if we have spent close to 700 million in that office, and the benefit, direct and indirect benefit, I cannot measure it to even 100 million or 200 million Ghana cedis, then what is the use? We could have used the resources to resource the AG's office, the DPP's office, and we could have gotten far better results from it.
So for you, it's clear that the rationale for setting up the office has been defeated over the years.
The rationale is good, but the person,
right.
So we need two things. I know that the AG is contemplating on scrapping the office. That is what I'm hearing. But it will take a little time.
Yes.
But we have to sit and discuss and agree as a people that if the Office of the Special Prosecutor now is not serving its purpose, do we have to close it and then put those powers back to the AG, or we still need to fine-tune that office, get the right people there to do the work that we need to see the Office of Special Prosecutor do?
Well, we'll be getting the thoughts of Charles Bawdwa shortly on this, because the minority seem to believe that, well, this is a clearly, neatly orchestrated plan that we are seeing in motion. But let me talk to you about what is happening on the 19th of December 2025. It's a Friday, and the beautiful thing is that the Accra Sports Stadium will come alive with a GTCO music concert. We're going to have the likes of Shatawale, Sarkodie, Kim Promise, all upstage representing Ghana. And from Nigeria, Pato Rankin is coming, Fireboy, DML, Joe Boy. Ira Star will be in Ghana on the 19th of December 2025. It's at the Accra Sports Stadium, Ketsi Guarantee Trust Bank, GT Bank. And what they're saying is that it's absolutely free. All you need to do is to be there by 4 p.m. when the gates open and get to be a part of that exciting GTCO musical concert. And remember that if you have any questions, you want inquiries about the event, 0800 124 000 is the number to call, 0800 124 000. Just call and get to know more about the GTCO music concert happening on the 19th of December at the Accra Sports Stadium. It's going to be louder, bigger, and absolutely better than the previous ones. So we are all gathering there on the 19th. We'll be right back after this break, and we'll pick the thoughts of Charles Bawdwa on the issues. Well, thank you so much for staying on with us. This is still the Breakfast Review segment of GA Today, and my guest in studio, Charles Bawadwa, Member of Parliament for Bongo, and Isaac Boamanyako, Member of Parliament for Ifia. And before we went on that break, we heard from Isaac talking about how the minority in Parliament believes strongly that there's this attempt to basically get all the heads of these institutions out, which is problematic, by the way. But Charles Bawadwa, the minority says the current administration is on a tangent. It's like everything is calculated. Let's get the CJ out first, and then it'll be easy to get the rest out of office as well.
Well, I have a different opinion on that. I think that, look, we promulgated a constitution for ourselves as a country since 1992. In this constitution, the framers provided for how very important heads of institutions like the Electoral Commission, the courts, and other independent bodies can be appointed and removed. That is clearly provided for in the Constitution. Now, so in the case of the removal of the Electoral Commission, or Electoral Commissioners, you follow the same process as a Superior Court judge, a justice of the Superior Court. So you will find in Article 146 that a petition will have to be submitted to the President by anybody who thinks that he has some reasonable ground or some grounds for which the Constitution permits a removal. And when the President receives it, the President is under no requirement to do anything except to hand it over to the Chief Justice.
Right.
The Chief Justice receives it, sets up a committee to look into it and to find out whether there's a prima facie case. Then the report is transmitted back to the Presidency and the procedure goes on. So that is a procedure which the Constitution has provided. And there are clear grounds, 3 key grounds. 1, misbehavior on the part of the affected person. 2, incompetence exhibited by the affected person. And then 3, infirmity of body that is affecting the ability of the person to carry out his duties. So these are the 3 key grounds. Now, since 1992, this provision had never been triggered in terms of heads of constitutional bodies such as Electoral Commissioner and then the Chief Justice until the President of His Excellency, Presidency of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, Akufo-Addo. When they subjected Madame Charlotte Osei to this process, eventually removing her over issues and claims that many Ghanaians thought were just flimsy. So that created a certain precedent.
Right.
You see? So one may be thinking that now that these petitions are coming, is it not in retaliation for what probably happened? But I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't believe so. I think that, look, there must be good grounds. And I'm sure that now that His Excellency has received these petitions and forwarded to the Chief Justice, the committee that will set up should actually be sure that there are good grounds, that the procedures, the requirements, the yardsticks provided by the Constitution, and the evidence that will be produced to support these grounds really exist. So it is now incumbent on members of that committee to show that they are independent, to demonstrate that they can stand up to the constitutional requirements.
Right.
If they do that, we should have no difficulty knowing whether or not it is a procedure that was properly exercised. So I think that, look, rather than politicize this whole thing, that the NDC is out for a witch hunt, there is nothing showing that this was an NDC orchestrated affair. There is information now coming out that even the petitioners are not NDC people. These are people who genuinely believe that there were grounds for the removal of
But
the electoral
how do you
commissioner.
determine whether the NDC people or not?
Oh, of course, we
Because
all
people
know-
can belong to a party and
No,
not
if I come to
necessarily.
your community, it's easy for me to tell where you belong. If you come to my community, it is easy to tell where I belong. I mean, we can find out these things. So we should not blame it on the NDC. But I want to say that, look, it was very wrong for Akufo-Addo's to have started this. So if we are not careful, as Makolika stated, we may have this thing on ending as and when government change, and it is not good.
Right.
This is a provision that ought to be triggered sparingly on very rare occasions where there is abundance of evidence that indeed these things, the grounds for removal, in fact, exist. But it did not happen like that, and now a precedent has been set, and subsequent processes are also ongoing. So one can easily say that, look, maybe it is a retaliatory affair.
Because there are some who say that, well, the petitions are just mere processes, and clearly there was an agenda way before that based on pronouncements made by key members of the party as well, for which reason they believe that once these petitions have been presented, the back of the people will be seen, as was the case with the CJ.
No. Every individual has a right to express himself, things that he's not happy with. So if anybody has said that, look, I am not happy with the way the judiciary is being managed, I am not happy with the way a particular head of the institution is conducting itself, it should not be interpreted to mean that it is an attempt or a declaration that they will come and remove such people. My friend has said that, what is his name? Chairman Seydou Ketia is alleged to have said that they should remove the electoral commission. I have not heard that. And I have not heard or seen any video to that effect. And so we can't make that allegation. I think that is a wild allegation for which there is no basis for it. But like I said, we should care about this country. It is only when the institutions that have been established by the Constitution and statutorily so done, which, when they are independent, that will ensure that we safeguard our democracy.
Right.
Democracy does not mean that when you come, you do whatever you want. But that there should be key institutions that will ensure that the individual, even if you don't belong to any particular political party, you should have justice, you should have fairness wherever you go. You should be protected by the law. And this can only happen if institutions assert themselves this independence, rather than try to satisfy political parties. It is when you do these things and you seek to satisfy political parties that eventually people will start calling for your head. We saw in the past how even the current electoral commissioner, behaved in terms of electoral processes. Then this is crowd foul to the effect that, look, most of the things, it appeared that he was in bed with the NPP then, and the only reason why there has to be a change of government this time was because she had been cornered by the Ghanaian people, said that they just couldn't do anything about it. So the conduct of people in public institutions, especially the constitutional ones that require independence, must show.
But how can we cure this, especially when we look at how these people are even appointed?
We can only cure this if the people who have been appointed assert their independence. If you are appointed by a particular government, it doesn't mean that you must go in and do the bidding of that government. If you do that, you will be a key, candidate for petitions and counter petitions and what have you. Assert your independence. Do your work as the Constitution requires it. Do your work as the law requires it. And ensure that whatever position you take, there is factual evidence to support your position. And the people of Ghana are discerning. We are very intelligent people.
Right.
If you take a position that is not supported by the fact or that is influenced politically, clearly the people will know. And that is where you become tainted with political, attacks and all that, you are working for this political party or you are working for that. But if you do your work impartially, without favor or even fear for that matter, There's no reason why it should be a subject matter of attack politically.
Right. But Isaac, can these persons really assert their independence, especially when you are appointed by a specific administration? Can you be seen to be working counter?
Okay. Let me at least. This is a place of record. I don't want it to be seen that I just say things for what is worth. Particularly when my counsel on the other side says he has never heard or seen Asiedun Ketia make those comments. Let me refer counsel to as recent as June 12, 2025. This is 3 News. You can check. Asiedun Ketia demands removal of GHOne Mensah-led Electoral Commission. This is even June 2025. National Chairman of the NDC, Johnson Asiedun Ketia, has called for the immediate removal of the GHOne Mensah-led Electoral Commission, describing the action as long overdue due to a series of electoral infractions. So speaking on marching on Onua TV on Wednesday, blah, blah, blah. Let me reference him again to My Joy Online. The entire EC leadership must go. They are not fit for purpose. Asiedun Ketia. The chairman of the NDC, Johnson Asiedun Ketia, has launched a scathing attack on the Electoral Commission, declaring its entire leadership unfit for purpose and calling for their removal. And this is 25th of June, 2025. So the point is, when you take it back to even 2024, before we came, before the elections, these calls had been there.
Right.
And they have died into 2025, even when they had power. And this is led by the chairman of the political party in power, the chairman himself. So if you see these things coming, why didn't they file the petition in February? Why didn't they file it in March? But they are filing it after the removal of the Chief Justice. Because they know clearly that we need to set the groundwork to do what we want to do. And the moment we behave like ostriches, this is how this country will be. And we will sit on a very bad position as a country.
Right.
If EC does anything that is wrong, it is fair and incumbent on the executive to direct. Why don't we have, doesn't the EC report on its financial matters? Don't we have constitutional, Parliament doesn't have exercise supervisory role in the activities and work? What is it about? The petitions will come out for us to see, and you will see them like the same frivolous petition that led to the removal of the Chief Justice. As a country, I will not stand there and say if someone does wrong, we should be protecting the person. But the standard that should lead to the removal of high office holders like the Chief Justice, Electoral Commission, shouldn't be frivolous like traveling with your spouse to Abuchi and the rest. That can't be.
Right.
Why? If you go and you want to sanction, as he said, don't we have misdemeanors? Don't we have all of them? So, fine. It is a political agenda. And they can go ahead and prosecute the agenda. They are only setting the precedent for tomorrow. And that's what I'm saying. That weakening our state institutions doesn't, in your Ghana is bigger than political parties. Ghana is bigger than the NDC. Ghana is bigger than the NPP. And so we as political, and that is why even the president, when you check the removal of Charlotte Osei, I don't want to go in detail to say they talked about procurement breaches and all of those things. But the standard for arriving at those conclusions, every Ghanaian that reads it should be convinced that yes, these our leaders should go. But you can't set those, you put your people in place, you set the scheme. Why should even the spokesperson to the president be telling us that the people are not NDC people? Do we even care? If they are MPP or NDC people, do we care?
But that's why they say we seem to be jumping the gun, because the Chief Justice would have to first determine whether there is a case to answer in the first place. So it could be that there will not be any case to answer.
I put my faith in the same institutions that are supposed to work fairly and candidly for the development of this country. I believe that the current Chief Justice, Justice Paul Bafuboni, has what it takes to function independently. But as to whether because of how he was appointed, and this was where the minority had come from, that when you taint appointments with political colorization, then even when the people take actions that are consistent with rationalism, people will still think that it is because they are there to do the agenda of government. But I am a man of law. We are all practicing lawyers. I can't impugn on the integrity of the Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana. I cannot do that against Pobaf Boni. So I believe that, yes, let the process go. We have all not seen the content of the petitions.
Yes.
If it comes out and we all know that it is good grounds for the removal of any of those office holders, all of us will be there to discuss it and profile opinions.
Right.
But the intention, as put out over time, when it leads to these things, then it becomes worrying. And so political parties should desist from making those comments, because you can express your dissatisfaction to an agent of state. Why? We just spoke about the special prosecutor. If after making my comments, the special prosecutor goes on to do his work, but when you say that when my party comes to power, I'm going to remove the special prosecutor, then it means that even if the special prosecutor does right or wrong, you have the intention to remove him, and that is not good for this country.
I'll give you the final word on this, Charles.
Yeah, so I think that we should not jump the gun. Let us allow the process to continue. I'm sure that at the end of the day, we will know the details of the petition.
Right.
And when we know the details, we will be in a position, even as people who are not members of the committee that investigation, to make an informed opinion of whether or not there is any basis.
But the
the
fear is that based on what they have seen with regards to the removal of Gertrude Tokono, they fear that, well, they said that was done on frivolous grounds, and they believe that might apply here as well.
That, for them, that is, they believe that is frivolous. But there is a committee that was set up to do its work. It is working in accordance with the provisions of law. This committee found that the basis or the evidence that supported the petitions are grounds for a removal of the Chief Justice. We have passed that bridge. Everybody can always have an opinion. And the fact that your opinion does not match that of mine does not mean that I am wrong.
Okay.
Certain people have been mandated by law to perform certain functions.
Right.
They have performed their functions to the best of their ability, to the best of their knowledge. And that is why we have, processes that can overturn if you believe that the committee that did its work, or that the entire process was wrong, or that you were not properly treated. You can always go to court. You understand? The decision of the president, the decision of the committee is not final.
Okay.
There is another superior body that can overturn all that.
Right.
So it is a process that should eventually produce fairness. So I think that, look, let them do their work. Let the process continue. The president could not, having received those petitions, sit on them and say that I will not send this. That will be unlawful. That will be unconstitutional. So I just hope that the committee will do a fair job, and that the processes of finding out whether or not there are indeed grounds for the removal of the electoral commissioner and her deputies, and that of the special prosecutor indeed exists. And if they do, why not? I mean, nobody, when appointed to a particular position, is supposed to be there whether or not you are performing, whether or not you can do the work, and whether or not you are misbehaving. So let the job go on.
Okay.
But I believe that, like I said earlier, this must be exercised sparingly. It shouldn't be any time there's a change of government.
Then there are petitions for the removal for...
Then there are petitions. And it's unfortunate that the MPP started this precedent. And so each time, these things come out, they say, oh, the usual politics, which shouldn't be the case. Okay. We have to protect this country. The only way to protect this country is to ensure that independent bodies, independent institutions that have been set up by the Constitution and statutes indeed operate independently. And it's for good reason that those bodies have been made independent, so that they are not influenced. But if we allow ourselves to be influenced, this is where we will come to.
Very well.
Then also, there is the need to go into, you see, if you look at the procedure, when the committee is set up and it receives the petition and is to work on it, there are no details of how the committee will go about it, to what extent is the person affected, involved, what the procedures to be followed, due processes and all that.
Right.
The constitutional provision is quite scanty. It just provides a framework. It doesn't provide the details. And you are dealing with the liberty of individuals, citizens of this country, very important citizens who have held key positions in this country. So it's important that the removal process is detailed in terms of its procedure, so that nobody is left in doubt as to the steps that you should expect when you find yourself in that situation.
Absolutely. Well, while we are talking about the state institutions as well, the Supreme Court is in the fray because Bandai MP, I don't know what to call him, former MP now, has prepared a declaration.
No, Matthew says he's still MP, so he's MP.
Well, so Matthew Nyindam, we know, is headed to the Supreme Court, basically to challenge the order that was given by the High Court in Tamale for a rerun of the parliamentary election in Bandai. Isaac, I'll pick your thoughts on that. I know we cannot get into the merits of the case, but then we can still share some thoughts on this matter.
Yes, of course. I believe I've already expressed my disappointment in the judgment of the High Court. I've read the judgment of the court, and I'm still not convinced that the judge was right in arriving at that conclusion. For me, the biggest error was in ordering the complete rerun of the 152 polling station elections. Instead of, even if he found reason of infractions on the 41 or so electoral areas, allowing, because the rest, there are no contests against them. And these are the decisions of the people. The people have already voted and arrived at the conclusion that this is how we want, who we want to represent us. And so if there is no contestation of those polling stations, why are you? And the claimant didn't ask for that relief. So I find it very, very, very strange, the basis upon which the judge arrived at that conclusion. It is not supported for me by law. He didn't even give any judicial basis for arriving at that conclusion. And so that is why, in the beauty of the law, we are entitled to appeal. We are entitled to even go to the Supreme Court, which we have given that notice of appeal at the Court of Appeal in Tamale. But then we've gone further to the Supreme Court with a writ of certiorari to quash the decision, because it will even be a long process going through the Court of Appeal to arrive at a conclusion that if the Supreme Court are minded by the facts and evidence that is before them, that decision will be quashed so that Matthew can continue to perform his functions. For me, the other thing I want to point out has to with, again, how quickly the decision, the thing is on appeal, whether stay of execution is tantamount to a stay properly so called, and then Courts of Appeal decisions. And at the end of the day, as we speak today, Matthew was not in Parliament yesterday and 2 or 3 days ago. For whatever reason, I've not spoken to him. Okay, but where lies the representation of the people of Pandai? when he is on the floor, he's clearly one of the leaders or one of the people who are always on point, articulating the views of his people, talking about parliament and contributing to the betterment of parliament.
Yeah.
And so we need, as a country, and I believe the Supreme Court, with all the revision of the rules, should prioritize petitions which relates to parliamentary or presidential petitions, so that we can get expeditious determinations of those matters, get people's representations on the floor of the House, so that like someone, if the Brekum MP, for example, is being challenged and it's not in Parliament, the armed robbery that is happening at the GHOne Road, who will be speaking to it?
Right.
Now my brother is talking about what is happening in his constituency. If it's not in Parliament, who will be talking about that? And so there are matters in Pandai that today, if Matthew is supposed to be in Parliament, he has to be articulating for and on behalf of the people of Pandai. I'm from Efia. Anything that happens in Efia that I need to speak to, it's not everything that we even say in Parliament. A lot of the work we do is behind the scene. I'm meeting Minister of Energy looking for support. You are looking for educational support. You are looking for this support, and all for the betterment of our people. So if your representation is not in Parliament, you are completely handicapped. But I believe the judgment of the High Court should quickly be quashed, and then by TV themselves as the member of Parliament for Ghana.
All right, Charles.
Yeah, I think that the judge believed in the decision that he made. According to the judge, what he saw from the 41 branches, the polling stations, was so extensive. Inaccuracies, several malpractices, cancellations, and all that. And he thinks that, look, this goes to the roots of the entire election, and that it affects the integrity of the entire election. We all know that rerunning an election is based on whether or not you think that whatever cause, whatever malpractices or issues you have with the election went to the root or affected the integrity of the entire election. So for him, as a High Court judge, he believes it did. And so he has ordered a rerun. You see, a judge can be wrong. He can be right. What is important is that if a judge is wrong, he should do so in good faith. Genuinely. We have nothing to show that the decision reached by this judge was influenced by anything.
Right.
So assuming if it is wrong, is he not entitled to make a mistake? But the judge believes he is right. So this idea of attacking the decision of the judge as if the judge had committed anything out of his legal duties, I don't believe that is the best way to go. The correct way to go is to go and appeal. And I'm happy that they have taken that step.
Right.
If the judge was wrong, the appeal court will say it. If the judge was right, the appeal court will again say it. So you can express your feeling, but the continuous attack on the decision of the judge as if the judge, had done something illegal and that has committed an offense and all that, I do not think that's the best way to go. They have appealed. I believe the decision of the Court of Appeal will resolve this. And apart from that, they have now gone, the affected MP has now gone to the Supreme Court to quash the decision on grounds that the petition, the basis upon which the decision was made to rerun the election was filed out of time. And so the court has no jurisdiction. This is the allegation for which the petition, or in the nature of application for certiorari, has been filed at the Supreme Court. Let us see what the Supreme Court will also say.
Right.
I am sure that the state institution, i.e. the courts, will deal with this matter. But my colleague made a point, and I fully support that one, about the timeousness in decision making or this judgment being delivered when it comes to election matters. I know a special case, the popular case of Isaac Amo, somewhere, I think in 1996. You know, Isaac Amo filed a petition against the NDC candidate. But this decision took 4 years. So the decision came after that parliament had dissolved in favor of Isaac Amo. So even though he had won in court, it was an empty judgment, a period one, a judgment that was overtaken by events. And we know that there are time limits for the periods which a parliamentarian can sit in the parliament. So if a matter comes and it is not expeditiously dealt with, the results end up having an effect that the people will not feel, because if the people wanted a particular person to represent them in parliament and a wrong person represented them in parliament, only for a court to say that, oh, you were right, you should have been a parliamentarian, but we can't do anything because that parliament has been dissolved.
Right. So
those let us have procedures to expeditiously decide these matters.
Absolutely.
I mean, you can always dedicate time, do a continuous hearing of this matter, and then the matter will be resolved quickly. Right. I know that sometimes the court is handicapped because of interlocutory applications and appeals by parties in the litigation process. These are matters that also frustrate. But I think that if we come out with the necessary reforms in the rules of court, when it comes to election petitions and election litigations, we should be able to reach a situation where these matters are avoided.
Right. So we run out of time, but we need to touch on this because it's been a matter of concern. The health minister raising, especially in the Upper East region.
Yes.
We are told that not a single doctor posted by the Ghana Health Service has reported.
And that is very bad. I saw the statistics yesterday, and I think that is not good as a country. Look, why will public servants and civil servants who have been appointed and posted to particular regions refuse to report? Why? And no action is taken. And so I think that the steps being taken by the minister to ensure that they report must be supported. The Upper East region, all the other northern regions are just parts of Ghana. And this perception that, when you go to those regions, your life will change to the negative, are just not correct. There are several very, very, very nice places in those regions where you can go after work, you can enjoy yourself. And I think that, look, the minister must insist and ensure that if you do not report, then you forfeit your appointment. But somehow, some way, year in, year out, the doctors find their ways back to the system and they are reposted to other parts that they think they prefer to go without any sanction. So for me, the minister must be very tough.
Right.
They are either going or...
But there is concerns that accommodation, all these things need to be put in place before they go.
Yeah, but the thing is this, you see, there are several government hospitals over there that have accommodation. Several. So it is not an accommodation problem. You can't say that all the facilities there don't have accommodation. Some do have. So accommodation is not an issue. Apart from that, look, most workers rent their own accommodation. And that is why accommodation allowance is always paid and top up to your salary so that you can acquire your own accommodation in terms of rent. We are members of parliament. We have not been given accommodation. But we've been giving rent to pay for accommodation. What prevents them from doing that?
Right.
Must it be the government that provides the accommodation or the facility that provides the accommodation? So that is not an excuse. But like I said, several facilities have accommodation. How are the other workers who are working? When do they stay? Are they hanging on the air while they go to work? So I think that it is a matter that we must. It is this perception that people don't want to work in Northern Ghana and that you do not have the best in terms of environment. That is orchestrating this, and we must discourage it. Many people who hitherto had issues about being posted to the north, when they have been there, they are very happy and they are working there. So we must face this head on and then deal with it.
Okay. Well, for the Western region, some of the doctors were told have reported.
Yeah, but I cannot be excited only because they've come to my region and other regions are affected. But we should always go to, you talked about the root of this challenge. And the root has to do with how well we motivate personnel who have to go to such, we call them deprived areas. It is not the making of the people to be deprived of essential services and facilities. But you cannot also say that doctors who have all completed school at the same time would have some in very comfortable areas of work, and then you put others in a deprived area for no benefit or motivation. So what should be the motivation? The motivation should be such that, one, either you are giving them extra remuneration or you are giving them some conditions of service that allows them to serve at a short time and be compensated by giving scholarships or top up in their institution, making sure that you provide them with some accommodation that they can be very comfortable with to serve the people, and so on and so forth. So as a country, those paths were part of the reason why Agenda 111 was promulgated. That you build a facility, make sure that all the logistics and equipment are there, you make sure that the accommodations are good enough, so that even if the person is not having all the fun or entertainment that you find somewhere, because of their commitment to serve the people, at least the basic necessities of life are needed. And then you have my people on the other side always talking about, oh, we are building regional hospital, we are building a teaching hospital, forgetting that healthcare starts from the doorstep of the people. Someone has initiated 111 district hospitals. You put in your budget that you're only going to complete 10. 10 out of 110 hospitals. How are you going to, and where are the hospitals located? Are they in Takoradi? Come to my region, there's no Agenda 111 in my region, in my constituency. In my region, you find them in districts that have no better hospital that has to take care of the people. If you go to your region, you would have Agenda 111 in many parts of areas where you lacked district hospitals. So this is where, look at the budget that we are approving. You approved budget for ministries, and as at end of year, government has only given away 30%, 40%, and the highest point you are seeing is 50% of disbursement. How do you want ministries, departments, and agencies to work? So we talk about economic stability, everything is fine. Yet ATO is not paying. Then they sit at the back and they say ATO is forcing, ATO is forcing. And they finish and ATO doesn't give them money to work. And they can't talk. They are there, they can't talk. Go and look at their conditions. You want doctors to go to villages, and you can't give them the minister, you ask him if he can enforce his own rules.
No, but the minister says he's speaking to MPs, DCs, MCs.
Now that you have sent the posting, if my brother needed a doctor in his hospital,
right,
or they post him there, you should have informed us ahead of time that this is what is coming. You are sending 5 doctors to my constituency or my district. Then we would engage the MC over time, which offices, which spaces can, even if they need rent, how can we assist and to get them good areas to rent and so on and so forth. But the releases to improve the conditions of the hospitals and then the ministries and the roads and the rest, they have all been deviated. Government has not made those releases.
Right.
We sit down, talk about exchange rates, everything is fine, inflation is fine. End of year, as at end of September and October, 40% release, 30% release, 50% release. So how can the ministries work? Yesterday we were approving fisheries and aquaculture. 30%. Beginning of year till October. Only 30%. And those releases, when you take away compensation, all of them, when you take compensation, goods and services, which is what is required to work, and capex, next to zero. Next to zero. And we are here, you will not talk, and you not do those things, and then you say that when you are telling us ATO is forcing, ATO will force for you.
Well, so you see, my friend has taking the opportunity to deviate a bit to attack Atto and his budget. But you see, look at Agenda 111. His government had a certain quantum of money, of resources. Look, instead of limiting those resources to a fewer number of hospitals which you could build and complete, you decided to spread it around to 111 districts because you had set Agenda 111. In the end, they did not complete a single one of them, not even one. NDC government comes and said, oh, let us attempt to complete these ones. We will not abandon them as you will always do. Let's complete 10 this time. Next year budget, there will be another allocation to complete, and consequently, we will face off all these 111. You say that we are doing what? We shouldn't have done that. Why did you not complete the 111?
But how can you complete?
And in terms of releases, in terms of releases,
Right.
the statistics have shown that sometimes your ministerial
contracts.
releases were less than 50% of your budget.
So
it is not a new phenomenon.
Right, but the appeal is that the doctors should go.
That is
we just
that's
appeal
the
to the
key.
doctors.
The appeal is that the doctors should go.
Please
But
go.
we really need the doctors.
Absolutely.
I am sure that there is accommodation because a lot of medical staff are already working there. They have accommodation.
Right.
If there is no hospital accommodation for the doctors, we can rent accommodation and then give them accommodation allowance to pay for it.
Okay.
Let your people.
Very well. So that's the
plantain,
member of parliament
get
for
them
Bongo.
plantain and yam
They
for
are
the
ready to
doctors
support
enjoy.
as well. So doctors, we are appealing to you to take up the postings. That's Charles Bawadua. He's member of parliament for Bongo. He's also a lawyer, and also Isaac Boawanyako, member of parliament for Ifia, also a lawyer, joining us for the breakfast review segment. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming. Well, this is still GA Today here on GH1 Television. We've got quite a number of conversations as well right after this. Stick and stay with us. All right, thank you so much for staying on with us. This is still GH Today here on GHOne Television. And on Saturday, this coming Saturday, we are all coming to the Platinum Place because we have the Star Corporate Walk. Quite a lot of exciting activities happening on Saturday. We are, doing aerobics, we are eating healthy, we are doing so much, connecting, vibing, and so much to do on Saturday. But one of our happy, proud sponsors is joining us in studio for a conversation. And of course, I'm sure if you've seen the adverts, you definitely would have come across Mac Felix. And yes, they're here. Felix Afutu is CEO, and Josiah Kodjo Sokofi is marketing manager for Mac Felix Limited. Gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you.
I hope you're doing very well.
You're doing very well.
Hey, Felix. Talk to me about how you're excited ahead of Saturday.
Yeah, we are extremely excited. In fact, we had a meeting with our staff, I think early this week, about the program, and they were very much excited because, corporate life is all about getting up early in the morning, going to work, coming back around 5, eating, sleeping, with no much to exercise to do. So when we heard about the Star FM corporate work, it was a big opportunity for us. I spoke with my marketing manager. We actually came to see Bola about it, and he said, why not, we should come on board. So we are extremely excited, and my people are, like, their boots are ready.
They are coming. Then Saturday is going to be gracious here as well. It's at 6 a.m., by the way. So if you are wondering how you can be a part of it, just come. Just come. It's simple. You're not going to pay anything. You're going to be a part of, networking with Felix and his people from Mac Felix. You get to understand exactly how they even go about their business model. But you see, I see a lot of stuff on my table. But when we talk of Mac Felix, what really do you do?
Our flagship product we produce at Mac Felix is plantain chips. And not just plantain chips, but it's a premium plantain chips. You can never have it anywhere than Mac Felix. And aside the plantain chips, we have coated nut. Our coated nut is exceptional, especially if you like liquor. It's really cool, vibes well with the liquor. And aside our coated nut, we have the regular roasted nuts. We have the paste, the nut paste. We have local party chips, and then the chicha as well. And aside the snacks, we also do bakery. We cater for events. We actually have a restaurant as well.
Oh, you do?
Yes, and our main food we produce there is gobe.
Hey. Wait, let me get more from Josiah. So Josiah, it's not just about plantain chips anymore.
Just don't do plantain chips anymore.
Right.
And we are not just trying to change the way things are done. For example, our normal plantain chips we sell on the streets.
Yes.
It's in a transparent rubber. You don't know the nutritional content. But with this, you have your nutritional content. If you head to the gym, you can count your calories, the healthy oils, and everything. It's on it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, and I one thing I've realized is that your packaging is also something that is quite unique from what we see. What motivated this kind of packaging? Felix, back to you.
He motivated the packaging.
All right. So actually, before I started my business, as plantain chips production, I did a little market survey, and I realized Ghanaians want an affordable product, but in a more presentable way that they can handle it everywhere. Right. And I did a little survey, and I realized most of the plantain on the street are just the regular plain packaging rubber,
yes,
and then
for the top,
they tie
yes,
exactly. And I realized it wasn't giving that hygienic feel, that premium standard. So I thought as much as, why don't I come up with a premium packaging that will meet everybody at every angle in life? Because this product, it really resonates with everybody at every angle in life, and that was the main focus. How we came about bringing up this.
Wow. And so far, Josiah, how has the reception been to how you package your plantain chips and coated nuts and all of that?
People love it.
Right.
The students, so we actually have a package for each and every class, each and every level. We have this one in bigger pouches as well, neatly branded. So we have what goes for the market women, the students, and this is very affordable. Yeah, so we get, like, the reception is good. And We actually didn't expect it to blow, but now it's blowing. It is really blowing.
Right.
They love it, the nutritional content, especially the Kelewele.
And that's what I want to come to, because usually we just see the unripe one, ripe one, finished. Yeah. But you have other variants as well.
Yeah, we do. And even with the unripe, we have the shredded for the small mouths. It's thin. Yeah. Even with the unripe, we have the shredded, but we don't have them in this package.
Okay.
Yeah, but we have this. We have the cocoyam. We have a variety.
Well, I mean, walk me through, because you mentioned Kelewele.
Yeah.
Kelewele there is supposed to be soft, hot, and then I mix it with peanuts or something and but you have packaged Kelewele in a different way.
Oh yeah. So this is spicy, the spicy chips, just like our local Kelewele, with the spiciness, the pepper, everything, and it's kind of mild. It sits very beautifully on your tongue as well.
Charlie, I like the way you are talking about it, and like you're experiencing the thing in your mouth already.
Yeah, so it's actually you experiencing Kelewele bite in a crunchy plantain chips vibe. That's exactly how it's given.
I'm sure you did a survey.
I did. Because I love food.
Right.
You know, before I started business, I was actually plumbing growing up, because me pay Johnny Pa. I actually love food. So anything around food, I try to get my own understanding and come up with a recipe around it that I would love to share with people.
And like Josiah said, when you started, it started off as something that you're doing, but then all of a sudden now it's blown. Yeah. Everybody knows about Mark Felix and what you do. But recently as well, because I've realized, and of course I was there, cohort 3 of entrepreneurship with Bola Ray, you were also awarded on the night. Talk to me about that.
Yes, I had an award from Mr. Bola Ray. So what actually happened was that I came to see him at his office, and then I gave him a little presentation around what Mark Felix is up to and what we stand for. And he really got intrigued, because he wasn't expecting a young guy doing so much in the community.
Right.
So he actually put me on the Bola Ray entrepreneurship. And then I was part of the mentors, and I also opted to be a sponsor, because that is what Mark Felix stands for.
Right.
And then he's seeing the value I was bringing to the community, and he's seeing the worth I was bringing to the community. He also awarded me, and it's actually my first award personally. It's actually my first award, and I'm so excited that it's not just the regular award that people dance on. It's not, sorry, quote unquote, people dance on this, but this is an impartation award. Absolutely. And this really resonates with me, with what I stand for and what the Mark Felix brand stands for.
Interesting.
And we are very much grateful to Bola Ray.
And congratulations as well, and thank you so much for being a part of entrepreneurship with Bola Ray. But then talking about the brand Mark Felix, Josiah, 5 years from now, what's the dream? What's the picture like?
Okay, so I'll give you our long term, I'll give you our short term. So we want to capture Africa, move international. We are actually moving international. We have people from UK, US trying to white label, but eventually we would want to be there as well, because currently we are doing a lot of white labels. But in Africa, we want to capture everywhere. We want to, immediately you hear Mark Felix, you hear plantain chips, you hear Mark Felix. You hear plantain chips, you hear Mark Felix. You hear anything plantain, Mark Felix.
Right.
That is the point we want to get to.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I, with the packaging and all, I wouldn't be surprised to see that happen as well, because this, I mean, I should be walking on the streets of New York and be able to pick up this and say, Charlie, this is from Ghana.
Oh, yeah.
And then enjoy it. It is possible. But not like the other one.
No. This is Mark Felix.
Mark Felix possible. Absolutely. So as it stands now, Saturday, we are here. We are having a great time. We are walking. We are networking and all of that. And we are enjoying plantain chips too on Saturday.
Yes, we are actually giving free tasting for everyone.
Wow.
Everybody will have a fill of Mark Felix. And then there's an extra to the plantain chips. I don't know, Josiah, should we say it here?
Let it be a surprise.
They should come on Saturday.
Yes.
But I'm happy I'm taking all of this home, because today this is what I'm snacking on, by the way. My team is not happy because I'm taking it all home, but forget them. But how do people get to contact Mark Felix and get to enjoy this product as well?
Okay, so if you want to work with us, you want to buy, you want to sell, we are on, so we actually have 3 branches active. We have our online. Immediately you search Mark Felix, or you even input in your search engine, plantain chips, McFelix will be the first to pop up.
Wow.
So you can buy on our website. It would be delivered to your doorstep. We have our main on the American House Boundary Road.
Okay.
Yeah, close to Papaya. And we have the other one, the annex, at right in front of Shezami, East Legon, yeah.
Absolutely. So people can find you on social media as well?
Yeah.
McFelix.
On all platforms.
MCPHILIX.
Yeah.
It's McFelix Foods.
Okay.
On all socials.
On all socials. as
Exactly.
well. All right.
And then if you need our product, we distribute across all markets in Accra. So any market center you get to Accra, just ask for where you can get our product, McFelix plantain chips. You get it at a very affordable price that you can sell and have some cash in your pocket.
How affordable is affordable?
As low as 180 cedis, you can get a box, and then you can sell each for 5 cedis, meaning you're making 20 cedis
Oh, okay.
from a box.
I think I have a business idea now.
Exactly.
All right, guys. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
coming.
Thank you,
Felix.
Joshua.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Josiah. And we'll see you guys on Saturday for the Star Corporate Walk. McFelix. Okay, let me just make. Okay, so we'll be right back. We'll have more conversations after this break. Stay with us. Well, thank you so much for staying on with us. This is Jay today here on GHOne Television. And my next guest is one who has exemplified quite a lot in terms of ministry, family, excellence is one of his hallmarks. Reverend Dr. W. Wilson Mafo. And if you're a member of the Assemblies of God Church, you know that this name is a name you might have come across one way or the other. Doc, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you very much, Brother Joshua.
I hope you're doing well, sir.
Grace and mercy is keeping us.
Absolutely. And I'm really privileged to be having this conversation with you today. A little bit told me that you've been avoiding media interviews all the while.
I always run away.
But I'm glad that we're doing this now, especially because in this month you are officially retiring. After how many years of service?
31 years in Assemblies of God and 46 years generally.
Hey! Ministry for 46 years.
Yes.
I'm sure it's not been an easy journey, but at what point did you say that, well, this is me responding to the call of ministry?
Well, thank you very much. I grew up in the church, went through children's service, and in my teens, I realized I had the call of God upon me.
Wow.
And my pastor, the late Reverend Colonel William Jomfia, who at one time was the chaplain general of Ghana Armed Forces. He used to be my pastor. I was raised in the barracks, Teshi camp. So I was attending the Methodist Presby Church. And he really led me into ministry. So around 15, 16, I knew that I was called into ministry.
Wow.
So from that age, I just devoted myself to answer the call and to make sure that what I've seen in my pastor would reflect in my life. So he really, really impacted my life and ministry.
Right. And how important is that key word of impact from mentors? Because now quite a lot of young people find it difficult to navigate the course of life and even in ministry. How important is mentorship?
Mentorship is really important. Paul told Timothy in the 2 Timothy 2:2 that the things that you have learned from me, commit unto faithful men who will be able to pass it on to other faithful men. And Timothy himself had been mentored from childhood by his mother and grandmother. And then later on, Apostle Paul took over. So you see, if we don't intentionally target the young generation and impact their lives, there's no future for the church. All of us are who we are because some way, somehow, somebody impacted your life or spoke something into your life or did something into your life. So mentorship is important. And for me, from that very young age, he was like everything to me. His lifestyle in ministry, his relationship with people, and his family life was so much impressive that I couldn't do otherwise than just to follow his footsteps.
For the 6 years doing this, was there ever a point where you felt this is not worth it? Because I know a lot of young people today who are interested in what is flashy about ministry, but then putting in the work becomes very difficult. So at a point, there's a conflict between work and having to focus on ministry. What would you say has kept you all these years?
You see, I have come to the understanding in Paul's letter to Timothy again. Paul was introducing himself and his ministry. He said, for this reason, I was appointed a preacher, an apostle, and a true teacher. And that is what I lived for. So for me, from that onset, I knew that the hand of God is upon me. God has called me. God wants me to do something. And therefore, I cannot disappoint God. And as a child or a young teenager in the church, one time I heard a preacher preaching in the church and said that others may, but you cannot. And that phrase has been with me, that others may, but I cannot. So in spite of the fact that times are hard, difficult situations come, and others are quitting or others are doing other things in order to just soften the situation, but I cannot. And so for me, it's always been that others may do it, but I cannot do it because that is not what God has called me for. So looking unto Jesus, the author and finisher of my faith. And that is what keeps me going, no matter the challenges, no matter the difficulties.
And ministry of 10, 20, 30 years ago and now, have you noticed any differences in how basically it's been run?
Yeah, definitely. We cannot do ministry the same way we've done it all over the years. Ministry gets improved day in and day out because, you know, the revelation of God is not static. It's always growing. God is always revealing new things to people. And in fact, God expects us to do better. That is why it is even said that the glory of the latter house would always exceed the glory of the former house. So the church and ministry should do better than it's been done in past. Because knowledge was not such. Even with the advent of technology and media and all those kind of things, in time past, we didn't have those things. And so ministry today is more better. But you see, the challenge is that if we don't take care, we will deviate from the message.
Focus primarily on the prophetic. So I remember my pastor, Dr. would say sometimes that when we are organizing programs where it's about teaching, you see a few numbers. But when it has to do with the prophetic, then the church is filled to capacity. What do you say about that?
All right. So you see, today's Christians, we have come out with a term called consumeristic faith. Today's Christian comes with a shopping list. They go to church with a shopping list. God, I want a husband, I want a wife, I want a life partner, I want a business, I want money, I want this. And they lay it on the table that, God, these are my conditions. And so now we see the leadership of the church, particularly those in ministry, now looking at how to meet this shopping list of the congregation. And the most ideal issue has to do with the prophetic. Prophetic, God does, he's still in the business of miracles, signs, and wonders, and then doing things for people. But that has never been God's focus. God's focus has always been to have a personal relationship with individuals, but not for them to be so reliant on prophets, on pastors, on apostles, on teachers, on evangelists. God wants us to have personal relationship with him. That is why on the day Jesus died, the curtain dividing the temple was torn, so that each and everyone who believes in Jesus Christ can have direct access to the presence of God. But today we have elevated, particularly, just like you said, the prophetic giftings to so high position that if you don't do a program about prophetism and then giftings and healing, that means your church is not a church. But you see, Jesus said, you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. What is more important than knowing the truth? The truth about your well-being, the truth about your future, the truth about your relationship with God. And that is what is important. And every one of us can have direct relationship, intimate relationship with God. That if God had to speak to you, he can speak to you directly. You can go to God and claim anything you need to claim without going through the prophetic, without going through a prophet or even an apostle or a pastor or a teacher. That has been my focus, that every one of us, but just like you said, we are dealing with a variety of people in the church. And so you will need to bring all these giftings into ministry. So sometimes myself inclusive, sometimes you want to bring a prophet in church for the sake of the members.
Right.
For the sake of the members, you want to bring an apostle. You want to bring, but when it's teaching service, then you see that people want to. But you see, when you are not taught the word of God, and you don't know the word of God, you become like a chaff being blown by the wind. Wherever the wind blows you, you follow. But if you know your word, if you know the truth, and you are solid in the word of God, you become stable.
Right.
No matter the storm that comes your life.
Fantastic. And in all these years, I mean, so you are head pastor of a church, district pastor at a point. You are on the committee that deals with our manuals, which is very popular, by the way. You are a husband, you are a father. How do you marry all of these and still have time?
All right. You see, several years ago, I had this thought that a busy person will always find time to do important things. So sometimes when people say, "Oh, I'm busy, I can't do it," my schedules will not. But if you are busy, and the thing is important, you schedule it.
Right.
You plan it. And so if you are busy, you find time to do it. One of the things that has kept me going was that knowing the numerous schedules that I was involved in. And I always go to office from Monday to Sunday.
Wow.
And but I took a decision that if, for instance, we are in the month of December, how many Mondays do we have in December? So I look at it, maybe 4 or 5 days, 4 or 5 Mondays. So at a go, I take all my off 1 week. In those days, I will go to Abri Gardens, switch off all phones, take time to rest and be in the presence of God, and then refresh, and I come back. And I've been doing that for so many years.
Wow.
People don't know, but when I go, it's only my wife or my superior, maybe my regional superintendent or somebody who is above me and who will need my service, and they should be able to get me. That can contact that number. So I have a certain number that nobody knows.
Wow.
And that is the only time.
So you make deliberate time.
It's a deliberate decision, intentional.
Right.
If you don't do that, you will break down. And those days when I was a principal of the Glory College of Theology and Leadership, I was telling my pastors, my students, that you see, this body is the vehicle for ministry that God has given you. If you don't maintain it and it breaks down, you don't have ministry.
Right.
So you need to take care of your body. You need to take care of yourself. So that, and then also, your marriage is your first ministry. So if you cannot have a good marriage, you can't have a good ministry. And your ministry is always a reflection of your marriage. You can't be a successful minister without having a successful marriage. Because the Apostle Paul said that if someone wants to be a bishop, he must know how to rule his house well. So if your house is disorganized, there's chaos in the house, it will reflect in your ministry.
What would you say is the greatest lesson you've learned from ministry all these years?
The greatest lesson that I've learned is that always trust God. Because the scripture tells us, cursed is the one who puts his trust in man. And the arm of flesh will fail you.
Absolutely.
But they that wait upon the Lord, they will always renew their strength. So all this while, and in fact, I got this idea from the beginning of ministry, when I decided to become a full-time pastor in Assemblies of God, transitioning from my own ministry and coming to full-time ministry in Assemblies of God. I told my wife, look, Assemblies of God has not called us. Victory Church has not called us. At that time, I was the youth president, the music director of Victory. I was also the director of Youth for Christ in Tema, and I have to resign all this to go to Bible school. And I was telling my wife that the church has not called us, but God has called us. So if we have any complaint during ministry, we don't have to complain about the system. We don't have to complain about leadership. We don't have to complain about the members of the church or the leadership of the church, deacons and deaconesses. And for all this while, I've never had any issue with any of my church leaders.
Wow.
Because if you I begin to see a problem with you, I go to God. And I have the idea that if you want to talk to man on God's behalf, talk to God on man's behalf. So that if I want to see that maybe you are my deacon and you are putting so much impediments and frustrations in my way, I go to God and talk. I will never have issue with you. And some way, somehow, God will make the way. Because Jesus said that the harvest is plenty, but the laborers are few. Pray ye therefore the Lord of the harvest. Who is the Lord? Jesus. He is the Lord of the harvest. So if I go to him, that this is your business. I am only a servant. And this is what I need to do. He will speak to me. He will let me know that, no, you have to accommodate this person. You have to maybe take a different approach. And it has worked.
That's it. So on Sunday, the Teshin District of Assemblies of God will be honoring you with a musical concert, because the news is that you are one of the people. In fact, you spearheaded the campaign to even get the district choir. So Legacy Praise is happening on Sunday at 3:30 p.m. at Victory AG in honor of Reverend Dr. W.W. Wilson Marfo. And knowing that you're officially retiring from Assemblies of God, I know you're not retiring from ministry, but then how does this come to you, the honor that the members are also given to you, sir?
Well, it's quite humbling. Looking back, I think it all started somewhere in 94 when we're going to have a crusade to start Redemption Assemblies of God. And by then, my experience in the district had been that musical groups were jostling for position and for prominence. So we go for district programs. You see Victory Choir want to outshine, Fountain of Glory Choir, and this choir want to outshine. And interestingly, some of the young churches didn't even have instrumentalists. So I got the idea that we needed to harmonize the music department in the district. So even though it was tough, because a lot of pastors didn't agree with me at that time, but I felt that to have a very excellent music ministry, we needed to pool our resources. So those days, we brought the choristers and their directors from the then TCWC, which is now FOG, Good News, Victory, Bible Way, and then Upper Room. And then these were just about a few churches that were available at that time. And we took them through proper voice training, proper instrumentation, and built it. At that time, there was no music like a mass choir, even in the whole of Greater Accra Assemblies of God. So we started, and then later on, Dan someone picked it up, and in fact, it was through such meetings that eventually music ministry became a ministry, which was approved by the General Council in Assemblies of God to become a department on its own. So it's quite a journey that we've come, and I think that it's been good because without music, because when I was in the Methodist Church, I was the music director, the choir master of Ghana of the Teshikam Presby Church.
Right.
And I've been a musician all this while.
Absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely. So on Sunday, we are all gathering to honor you, sir, and thank you so much for attending upon our call.
Yeah.
I know the next time we try to get you again, it'll be so long. But thank you so much for coming, Reverend Dr. W.W. Wilson Marfo. It's been an absolute pleasure, and God bless you for impacting our lives as well.
Thank you.
All right. So Reverend Dr. W.W. Wilson Marfo there, lead pastor of Victory AG. He's retiring in this month of December, speaking to us about living a life of legacy and of excellence as well. We'll be right back after this break. Stick and stay with us. This is still GH Today here on GHOne Television. And if you know anyone who is young, has started working, and has issues about, oh, as for my SNIT, this, call the person to tune in now. And if you have people as well who are working and are not paying their SNIT contributions, call the person to get to watch now, because our next conversation is going to focus on that largely. And on the show today, we are going to bust some myths, we are going to address some misconceptions, but more importantly, we're going to tell you more about why you should join the Social Security and National Insurance Trust. And I've been joined in studio by the Deputy Manager of Public Affairs for SNIT in the person of Jemima Ofori. Jemima, welcome.
Thank you, Joshua.
I hope you're doing well.
I'm good. Yourself?
I'm okay. Fantastic. Nice to have you. But then talking about SNIT, what's your core mandate, basically? For those who don't know about SNIT this morning, but I'll ask you, where have you been if you don't know about SNIT? By the way, talk to me.
All right. Thank you for having us. So immediately SNIT is mentioned, what should come to your mind is that SNIT is a social insurance scheme, legalized, that is responsible for paying monthly pensions till a contributor dies, basically. So before we'll be able to put you on monthly pension, you must have contributed for a minimum of 15 years. That's equivalent to 180 months. And that's minimum. We have people actually contributing over 35 years, but minimum you should do that. So basically we will register employers and their employees, register self-employed persons as well, collect contributions on their behalf, manage their records. We are going to pay their benefits as and when due, and then ultimately, of course, it's a social insurance scheme, so we'll have to invest excess funds so that the scheme can go on.
Right.
Yeah, so anytime SNIT is mentioned, SNIT is an organization responsible for paying monthly pensions for people who go on retirement.
And you mentioned self-employed persons as well, but I think for some people out there, the notion is that SNIT is when people are in formal employment. Yeah. So if I'm employed by a company, then my company pays SNIT. So if I'm, say, a fashion designer, I'm not employed by anybody, I employ myself, then I don't have any business with SNIT. You
do, because the laws of this country that gives us the power to operate spells out that the SNIT scheme is responsible to in covering every worker in Ghana,
right?
Not Ghanaian workers. Every worker in Ghana. So this includes immigrants, yes. Well. So that once they are here and they are working, and there is an employer-employee relationship, SNIT contributions are paid on their behalf. When the time is due for them to emanate to their home countries, they get a package. So if a foreigner is being paid for, then what are you waiting for as a gig worker? Or an abuso kind spare parts dealer, you understand. So the SNIT scheme covers everyone.
So in that situation, because in the formal situation, my employer pays my SNIT. And so I remember I just have to bring my SNIT number, it's inculcated somehow the deductions are made before my salary is paid to me as well on a monthly basis. For the abuso kind spare parts dealer who doesn't have an employer, how does he get to pay SNIT?
It's interestingly simple for such a person.
Okay.
Because you are your own boss and your own CEO, what this means is that you would want to take your future or your pension income into your own hands. So it allows you to also visit our office to register with us and tell us how much you will be able to contribute based on the I won't call it salary, but based on the earnings that come to you.
Yeah.
Okay. So that once you register, and right now, the world is going technological. People do not have time to form long queues in offices.
I don't like it.
Yeah. So it's very simple that once you go on our portal, we even have a USSD code.
Okay.
Such that once you are done with registration, your subsequent payments can be done through the USSD code using Momo. So you dial *711*9#. You follow the prompt and you are good to go. So that you are not skeptical about who am I going to send to pay on my behalf? How sure am I this person is paying for me and all of that? Yeah. So it's quite simple if you ask me.
Right. So it's not just about people who are employed formally, even in the informal sector. Still covered under SNET.
We have cashew farmers on our scheme.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Amazing. But then you see, so I've heard time and again that, oh, I've paid SNET, I've been in my salary, the deductions were done all these years. Now that I'm retired, look at the money SNET is giving me. SNET is giving me peanuts. How do I live off of this? And that makes people feel like, you know what, it's not even worth it. How does that happen? All
right. So before I comment on this, let me say this, that it's not, as a worker, it's not your entire salary that comes to SNET. It's a portion of it.
Yes.
So a contribution, a 13.5% that comes to SNET. Even that, 2.5 is remitted to National Health Insurance Scheme. So SNET ultimately manages 11% of your, your earnings. And so when that is done and your employer is under declaring your salary, and you know or you may not know, what you have to do is to regularly check your statements of accounts with us so that you are sure of what is coming.
Right.
Again, there's a difference between I have worked for 30 years and I've contributed for 30 years. There's a difference. You worked for 30 years, but your employer probably paid for 15 years for you. You understand? So it is as a worker, you need to put your future into your own hands to understand that I need to get all these things checked.
Right.
Again, the law allows you to also contribute on multiple sources of income. So as you are here with EIB, if you have your own consultancy firm, or if you are doing some...
Why are you looking at me like that?
I can tell. I can tell you probably have some Joshua ABC company. So once you have the Joshua ABC company and it's registered, it can be that you have actually not even employed people to work for you, but it's registered. So it's a company for you. So once EIB is paying, you are also mandated by law to also contribute from that Joshua company as well.
Based on the earnings
you are getting. So it beefs up your let me say your salary or your take home as is way.
Okay.
And then it is all of these things that come together for you to get a decent SNET retirement package. And let me say this, that the National Act, the Act 76 of the National Pensions Act that allows us to operate has a 3-tier pension scheme. So it's not only SNET, we have the second tier and the third tier. Yeah. And this will allow you to have multiple sources of income as well when you retire. So whereas you are paying for SNET, you have some contributions also going in there for you on second tier and third tier. So that when you are older and you want to go to Maldives for holidays, you go for these lump sum packages to enjoy, while SNET push you on a monthly pension.
But how come people don't know more about these things? Is it the case that people have not really extended themselves to want to know, or?
Do you know people wouldn't want to talk about anything retirement until they hit 50? So they feel, that retirement is so far away from them, but it will be so close. So it's better you start preparing now.
So for an employer, I should make it my job to know whether my employer is paying or not, because that's what determines what I get at the end of when I retire.
Exactly, and we keep on saying that SNET, we are so professional, such that when you report your employer to us, they would never know.
Hey.
Yes, because we have professionals who visit establishments or employers at their various organizations to ensure that the right thing is done.
Right.
So if you are listening to me and you condone with your employer to say that I am not working there, it will interest you to know that such employer is actually paying for themselves and probably for some relations.
Right.
And then yours is being under-declared or not paid for you at all. Yeah.
So now what happens to my benefit? If, say, when I started contributing, I was 25 years and I was taking a salary of maybe 1,200, then as the years go by, my salary increases. So maybe 5 years on, it's been increased by 5 times. Does that affect what I get ultimately as my pension as well?
It actually does. So what SNET puts into consideration in calculating one's pensions is the average best 36 months of the worker. Let me clarify this. People usually will say, average annual salaries. When you say annual, you are careful because it will sound as though it is for particular years. But with that, when we say your annual salaries, it will mean that we will go and look out for the best months that you contributed. Some people in their early working lives actually were earning higher salaries than even their current. You agree with me? Such that the nature of their jobs were such that, So when we go into your statement, we pick out these best 36 months of your working life or your employment history. Based on that, we strike an average, and we want to pay you on that.
On that. And not the ones that the months that I was not earning anything.
No, after that, it's consolidated, but we want you to be better off. So we will check. And every person or everyone on the scheme is entitled to enjoy up to 60%, of your salaries that came to SNIT. Emphasis is salaries that came to SNIT.
Not the ones that didn't
come. Not allowances, okay. So if we want to do a little math, maybe we go into your statements and we realize that plus or minus, averagely, your best 36 months, the first 12 months was 6,000, second 6,000. So averagely, your best will be 6,000. If you want to, we want to look at the number of years you contributed, say 35 years or more. You are entitled to a 60% of that 6,000, and that gives you 3,600. I'm not too good in maths,
no,
but
your
I'm
math
sure.
is good. Your math is good.
So that's it.
Oh, okay. Right. So it's about the best, your best 36.
Yeah.
Interesting. And in terms of success stories, because maybe people are watching us, they've not paid a dime. I'm seeing some tables on the screens. If you could just walk us through what we are seeing exactly.
All right. So let the concentration be on January 2025.
Bam.
I'm saying that because that is the current pensions we are paying throughout. We index or increase pensions annually. So the fact that you are seeing January 2025 does not mean we haven't paid the rest. It's the same till now.
Okay.
So our highest paid pensioner gets over 200,000 a month.
Wait, somebody gets that?
Yeah, not a year, a month.
Hey.
That person, Joshua, that person was getting over 186,000 as at December 2024. So there is an increase of 8.04%. The same way, if you go down there, we have someone on our payroll getting 58,000 a month. Again, not a year.
Oh no, stop that.
It's
so
true.
These are pensions people actually take.
On a monthly basis. And do you remember I told you? The law allows you to pay on multiple sources of income?
Yes.
Most of these people found themselves in that bracket. And actually, this is under the old law, the PNDC Law 247, where there wasn't a cap to which you could pay your contributions.
Okay.
There wasn't a cap, so you could pay. But with the new law, Act 76, it has a cap. And even that has a cap, our highest paid pensioner on that gets over 28,000 a month. Yes.
Hey, so people are getting for pension what people don't get for salary?
Yeah. So workers are to ensure that their allowances are consolidated.
You know how I'm imagining retiring and then every month without doing any work, 201,000 hits my account.
It would be nice.
Wow. So people actually are benefiting from the scheme.
Exactly.
Contrary to what others might be saying out there.
Yeah, so unfortunately, most of these people are not actually even on SNIT pension. So you hear them say a whole lot. And sadly, people in Africa would want to use their children or relations as their pension plan. Yeah. So my kid will look after me when I go. What if they don't even live up to looking after you?
That one is not as annoying as they live up to and they don't mind you.
And then you see, when as young as we are, when we are broke, you see how painful it is. Yeah. Imagine when you are old and broke. It's not a good combination.
I refuse it by thunder, by fire.
Amen.
Right. So for those watching us this morning and asking themselves if they need to be a part of the SNIT pension scheme, what would you tell them? This is your camera. Speak directly to them for me. All
right. I would say you would need to join the SNIT scheme because SNIT is the only social insurance scheme that pays you pension for a lifetime till your death. And I'll walk you through the benefits that you will derive from joining the scheme. First of all, when you are put on old age retirement pension, it gives you peace of mind. You don't have to rely on anybody to get an earning or an income to look after yourself. So this scheme is also there to cover or cushion you in terms of invalidity or sickness. So just let us know once you have a medical condition that has been declared by a medical doctor, and we'll walk you through the process in getting an invalidity pension. Lastly, death is inevitable. Anything at all can happen to you. So as long as we live, we make plans for the future. But if death occurs, your dependents are not left out. As long as you have done a SNAIT nomination, your family members and dependents are sure to benefit from your contributions.
So the money doesn't share?
No, it doesn't.
GHOne, thank you so much for coming. It's
for
been an exciting
us.
and educative one as well.
Thank you.
And I'll see you about some other things.
All right.
So that's the conversation with SNAIT and why you need to be a part of the scheme. But on the 19th of December 2025 at 4 p.m., the gates of the Accra Sports Stadium will be open for the GTCO music concert. Shatawale is coming, Stoneboy is coming, Kim Promise is coming, Pato Rankin is coming from Nigeria, Fireboy DML is coming, Ira Star as well, and Joe Boy, all coming to make it super, super lit on the 19th of December 2025. So you and I need to be there at 4 p.m. when the gates are open. And guess what? It's absolutely free. You don't have to pay for any ticket, and your security guaranteed. So GTCO music concert organized by Guaranteed Trust Bank, GT Bank, making sure that we have a very great kick to the Christmas holiday. We'll be right back after this. Listen, that's another matter. Well, let's come back and have another conversation on the show as well. And we're talking about 100 years, 100 years. Beautiful. And I'm sure that we'll be having further elaborations on Leicester, University of Leicester, and of course their centenary celebrations. A lot happening here in Ghana as well. And this morning I've been joined in studio by Hajia Loratu Omar. She's PR manager. Mrs. Eugenia Huni Entry, who is former treasurer, and then Divine Amenya, who is Leicester recruit lead. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
I like how you're all smiling. You're too excited about it.
So excited.
Interesting. But let me start with you. I mean, Hajia, 100 years. How does it make you feel being a part of this?
Oh, the adjectives are just over the cloud and moon. It makes us feel good, good, and goodness with pride.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Goodness with pride, knowing that we belong to the 100 years. And Leicester is celebrating 100 years of perfect education, of research, churning business gurus, educationists, politicians, people from diverse backgrounds that make up the society, that grows the society and build the society. So this really feels good for us here in Ghana.
Okay, let me find out from Divine. Is the feeling mutual?
I mean, it's the same thing here because I've had opportunity to meet and interact with some of the alumni. Obviously, they are all older than me. So I think it's a good feeling, meeting and interacting with the alumni, giving advice and the direction to go, and also the collaboration between the alumni chapter in Ghana and the University of Leicester as a whole.
Absolutely. And Eugenia?
Feel the same. Very excited to be part of the 100 years, as Lester said. Right. And I think we should be the first alumni university in the world that is 100 years. This is actually not the university that is 100 years.
Right.
The university is 104, and the alumni is 100 years.
100 years.
Yes, wow. And I'm so happy to be part. Oh, we are old. Very old. You know, we are from one of the ancient countries.
I tell you. So what are some of the programs that you've lined up for this celebration, 100 years of alumni of University of Leicester? What are some of the activities?
Right, so we have donations, we have tree planting, and we have a business summit that will be taking place in Ghana. And all the alumni in Africa and across the globe will be joining us in January to celebrate this. And we'll be here to promote the events as well.
We'll be here to celebrate as well with you.
And to climax it, we are celebrating the dinner and awards night tomorrow at the Lisa Hotel at 5:30 p.m. 5:30 p.m.
Wow.
We are awarding our I would say forefathers, fathers, and then our mothers. We are awarding them people like Professor Tego, former Vice Chancellor of the University of Ghana.
Wow.
He's an alumni. We are awarding Mrs. Helen Hagan, Lineal Services. She's an alumni. We are awarding, in fact, quite a number of them. Dr. Laurentia Ejipon, wife of MPP presidential candidate, Kennedy Ejipon, but the wife, actually. She was our former president of University of Leicester alumni. And quite a number of elites, because that is our tagline. Be an elite without being an ex.
Wow. Interesting. Interesting. But Divine, I mean, for the alumni in Ghana, why is this so important for you?
I think it is important for me in the sense that with respect to students' recruitment, I did in school at Leicester, but I work for the University of Leicester. I know what is happening in Leicester, and I communicate to the student with regards to opportunities, career opportunity at the university. However, you get to hear from the alumni themselves, sharing student life experience at the University of Leicester. And even after graduation, what are you doing and how can you also connect with the alumni? Yeah.
So it's quite important for the alumni in Ghana as it is for the global alumni as well.
Yeah.
Exactly so.
Okay.
Exactly.
And Eugenia, is it reserved for only alumni to participate in these activities that Loratu just lined up for us?
No, it's not for only alumni, but then we are encouraging as many as our alumni members who don't know it's coming up, because we have some who are somewhere and they haven't heard.
Yeah.
We are inviting them, they should participate. We are inviting business people, the public, come and let's network, because we want to strengthen the alumni network in Ghana, where we can use this platform to mentor the young ones who are interested in maybe pursuing their master's, PhD in Leicester, which is the goal that we want to actually do, so that as many Ghanaians can be part of it. And then apart from that, it is not free, because, you know, we need something to put something together.
Of course.
So we have tickets that are on sale.
Okay.
Tickets are being sold for single, it's 675 cedis. And then we have
For the
tickets
dinner?
For the dinner, yes.
That's so cheap anyway.
You know, you see, 675 is so cheap.
Wow.
And then we have for double, which is 1,300. And then we have corporate tables where we have 10 seats on each table, which is going for 10,000 CDs and 15,000 CDs. This is a table that if you're a corporate body and you have your name mentioned in whatever promotions we do, we'll have your banner. It can be beside the table or out of the hotel as you enter, so that it will actually market your
so you're giving
business.
free branding and mention for what, 10,000 and 15,000?
Yeah.
Hey, Lester, if you have money, you don't want money.
We want money, but then, you know, that is how you do to get money. You know, you need to persuade people to bring back in return.
And it's not just the dinner, Laura, you mentioned, it's the awards
It's
as well.
awards.
So,
Actually, we have dignitaries like your boss's wife, Dorcas. Dorcas.
She's also an alumni.
She's an alumni.
Right.
We have the Exim Bank CEO, Sylvester Mensah. He's a keynote speaker. He's a special guest.
Right.
Yes, and the Ioko boss, Raymond Acha, is an alumni. And
we have
Atamens. He's an alumni.
We have our foreign minister.
So it's not alumni.
Presidential candidate from the NPP, Brian Achampon, who is also an alumni. We have a lot, countless. So when you go to the
it's also
academia,
a proper networking night as well.
Actually, it's a networking.
With the creme de la creme.
It's a community of the creme de la cremes. So this is just to say, if you want to see them, you want to network, you want to have a discussion or conversation with them, this is an opportunity to just purchase a ticket of 675. You said what? It's very cheap. Very cheap, you know.
I won't say some
Come
things.
and dine, dance. We have a dancing competition.
For the
Imagine. Imagine.
And because we are
come and
100
dance
years.
and network. You know, the trend of the world is about networking.
True.
You may have your certificate, you may have your business plans, but the networking will add meat to the you understand. So let's get out there and network and make it a better celebration.
And Eugenia, I mean, beyond this beautiful dinner and awards night for the Ghana chapter, 100 years, what are you also looking to do beyond the dinner night?
Okay, beyond the dinner, we are the alumni chapter in Ghana. We are looking to strengthen and deepen our network in
Very
Ghana.
necessary.
Not only in Ghana, but West Africa, because we have a West African alumni network with our own sister country, Nigeria, championing too with us. So this is some of the things we do. We also want to actually send an impact to our society. Not only having a dinner, dance, and go off, but then we want to let people to see the impact that Leicester is creating in the society. Like she mentioned, we have our people everywhere. When you go to Kolebu, we have our doctors network there, professionals who are all Leicester alumni graduates, but then they are silent, so people don't know they are there. In the political field, we are there. When you go to the military, we are there. Everywhere. Air Force. Even we have our own current base commander, Commodore Ken Anderson. he is also an alumni
I give
of
up on you
Leicester.
people. but yes, Divine.
To add to what she said, so already University of Leicester has given 2 Ghanaian students £30,000 scholarship each. Now, what is happening before the end of the year is we are giving scholarship for students coming from Ghana if you apply to study at the University of Leicester between £9,000 to £15,000 of your tuition.
Hey.
Yes. So you just have to contact me on 0537 313 206. You don't have to put in any application. Just contact me, send me your details. I'll put in the application for you myself, and then you can monitor the progress of your application. Within 3 working days, you should get an offer from the university.
Oh, stop that. You're making it look like it's that simple.
It's very simple. It's very simple.
Because I'm also looking at the names you're mentioning. I'm asking myself, how easy or difficult would it be to get into Leicester?
It is very easy because we only need 3 different documents from you. That is your personal statement telling us why you want to study this course, why you want to come to the University of Leicester, your certificate and transcript, and lastly, a valid passport. That's it.
That's it?
That's it.
So I'm applying.
Because after completion, you have opportunity
to work and live in the UK for 2
2
years. And even as an international student, you can be working and schooling at the same time for 20 hours per week. And some of the places we've had our students doing internship or even doing 1 year industrial placement will include Rolls-Royce, PwC, Talo Oil, Deloitte, among many others. Yeah.
Hey. Last time it didn't come to play.
No, at all. And your visa processing will be done
Everything
by the
will
school.
be done by the school.
Not you.
Wow.
Simple process.
So you take the burden from the
Yes,
we take the burden.
So the student can focus and know that I'm just going to.
I'm just going to.
And the good thing is, with a traditional university where you have to buy admission forms or pay admission fees,
yes.
For Leicester, you don't buy anything, you don't pay anything. Admission is free.
You know what, we'll talk.
Yeah.
Please, let's begin talking now.
So, I mean, the alumni is 100 years, and here in Ghana, we have the beautiful lineup of activities, but it's starting tomorrow with the dinner and awards night as well. She says there's tree planting. I love that idea as well, because it's not about just depleting our environment. We are also trying to, support the environment as well, among other things that is being done. But how can the public and even the alumni who don't know about this, how can they get to be a part of this and support the movement and say, you know what, we had this on GHOne television, we want to be a part of it, we want to support the alumni?
Okay, so we have a contact number.
Okay.
We have a contact number. Eugenia, are you ready with the contact number? She is a former treasurer, so she deals with finance.
Yeah, the money woman.
The money woman. Okay. Yes, we have a contact number. And then we have a very vibrant social media platforms. Yes, and then we also have the platforms on WhatsApp, the alumni platforms, and we can also connect. So the number is, I think.
So we have our number. It's 059 7430 941. Let me go over it again.
Please do.
059 73. Let me go back again. 059 74 30 941. So for alumni who want to buy tickets, it's also our Momo number.
Okay.
You can send your Momo through here and then just reference your name so that it can be used for identification, and then you will be part of it.
And it's happening tomorrow, so you need to buy the tickets.
You have to buy it now so that we can get you a table.
Exactly, because if you don't buy it before you realize that the tickets are sold out.
We should have contacted you to moderate the dancing competition.
Exactly.
I'm still
because
available.
I can see you are laced down.
Absolutely, and I'm excited for Leicester, even though I'm not an alumni. Who knows? Next time we're having this conversation, I can see I'm also an alumni of University of Leicester.
That would be so interesting.
But it's great to have you guys. But final words, let me take from you, Laura, to with regards to the message out there to alumni and
So the final words is to, like I said earlier on, is to connect with the society and to also nurture the young ones coming. And you, of course. So the only way to be able to do this is to come to the awards and dinner night so we can interact. Because there will be a desk there for recruitment, Leicester recruitment, if you want to go to school in Leicester, and then we can also discuss with you on the models you want or the path you want to chart. Because the names I have mentioned are not mean fit.
At all.
They are big names, so if you want to have a conversation with them, you want to inquire about what they have done in Leicester and then what you want to do it could be an opportunity for you to make a good decision about yourself.
Absolutely. Divine, dear Charlie. I think he's my friend. I'm not leaving him. Divine, your final words as well.
Yes, so I'm going to be at the event, like she mentioned. I'm going to set up, and I'll be happy to engage with people. But alternatively, if you cannot come to the event, you can reach out to me on WhatsApp 0537 313 206.
Right.
0537 313 206.
And please do so now. If you forget the number, go back, replay, take it, and call, text Divine. Eugenia.
Okay, my final words. We've said a lot.
Absolutely.
But then, to those listening, even if you didn't listen and somebody told you about it, get the Momo number, buy your ticket, and come tomorrow.
And show up.
It's Alisa Hotel, 5:30. We start with pictures for red carpet.
It's a holiday.
And it's
what
a
better
holiday.
way?
You know,
Charlie,
it's Farmers Day. Come and appreciate
let's go and
the
farm at
farmers.
Alisa with Lester.
Stay at home.
They have to come with their wives.
Thank you, guys.
I'm coming with my allergy.
Your allergy.
And I'm also coming with my
Divine, who are you coming with? All right, guys. Thank you so much for coming, and congratulations on your centenary as well. Well, today is the 4th of December. Quite a number of people celebrating their birthdays, so let's make it more special for them with their wishes here on GHOne television. And this one goes to the wife of my Presekia Group President. She says, happy birthday, sweetness. May your new year be great with more love and joy. I love you, Han. And it's from Richard Oseajiman, a.k.a. Malaika, to his sweet wife, Mrs. Kafui Oseajiman, a pharmacist at Grace Medical Center. Our wife, happy birthday to you. And I know things are happening. Aqua Safari is buzzing. Right. Happy birthday, Nanefia. May the Almighty continue to guide and protect you and grant you all that you desire. Stay blessed and have a wonderful birthday. And it's from your friends and your loved ones to you. Happy birthday, Nanefia. So 2 special birthdays, and if you're celebrating your birthday as well, happy birthday to you. God bless you and grant you your heart's desires. But that's how we draw the curtains on the show today. Thank you so much for being a big part. I am Joshua Kodjo Mensah. See you same time tomorrow, God willing.